Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Piper S. for Piperland. Ramen used some tickets. Ramen has been saving up tickets for a while and used 11 tickets for 11 streams worth of Umineko, knowing that by 11 streams in, we'd be committed. So let's be honest, we're going to play all of Umineko. Ramen is sitting at 0 tickets right now. This is our Sunday for the foreseeable future. Ramen had recommended that I install just a mod to make things work a bit better. I think it ups the translation quality, but otherwise it's the Steam version of the game. Yeah, Ramen bought 44 hours worth of it, knowing that by 44 hours in, we're not going to stop playing. So, voice act. Oh, it adds the voice acting. Okay, cool. Gotcha, that was the main thing. I wasn't sure what to do for the installation for the most part, so I just went for whatever the defaults were. I'm not doing the EDV stuff, I think they called it. I'm doing it like the full screen instead of the text boxes, just because, honestly, that's the way Fate and the Witch on the Holy Night have been, so I'm kind of just used to that. So, you know, Steam version base doesn't have the voice acting. Okay, gotcha. Otherwise, I just did default for the mod, so I assume we're okay. Also, hey, Ark, Sor, Ramen, Jude, Ochi, how y'all doing? Welcome to Piperland in the chat. Let's get started. I checked the controls, but all I really seem to need is mute, unmute, and full screen. Alright. Yeah, let's start with episode 1. Gonna start in episode 1. Yep. Well, it's also important to know the buttons to avoid. Like, I shouldn't hit left control, because that's gonna fast forward things. So, you know, every now and again. Middle of the game, anytime, right click with the mouse, open for tips mode. Here, besides the save and load functions, you can view character profiles and more. Okay, so it's got like it compiles all the info we're getting. Useful, good. Okay. Yeah, again, I know controls is weird, but it's nice to know what not to hit. And it's nice to know that if, like, I can just full screen toggle at any time. That's useful. Probably a good idea to take a peek here and every once in a while. Okay, cool. Story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Any resemblance to existing individuals, organizations, locations, or incidents is entirely coincidental. Doesn't matter how fictional you think your thing is, it's going to resemble something at some point, so you gotta say that. Tab for voice line replay something. Oh, okay. Weird, but sure. If we need it. Again? So you still haven't overcome your love of alcohol? I mean, you know. Do you know what the proceed chat button or text is? Instead of clicking? Because, like, I could keep my mouse around here, or I could keep it hidden and just, like, hit, like, spacebar or something. So we don't have the mouse there. I'm gonna try it. Hold on, I'm gonna try spacebar real quick. Bet you that's it. Bet you it's spacebar. Spacebar. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna try enter too, because that'll make less noise. The old position let out a sigh as he removed the stethoscope. Yep. Enter worked for Fate as well, so I kind of figured. Just now I can hide the mouse and not have to worry about that. 2 elderly men could be seen in the dimly lit study, which was filled with dust and a sickly, sweet stench. In the corner of this room, which is much larger than what most people would call a study. I mean, depends. So look, sometimes people need their space to study. All those books are locked up, though. Important books, clearly. You lock up the books, but you leave the suits of armor out there. Was a expensive-looking bed, a man undergoing a medical examination, and the physician conducting it. Oh. There was also what appeared to be a servant watching over the whole scene. That hits very different after just finishing Fate, but I know what they mean. They mean a butler or a maid. However, I just finished reading Fate, so it hits a little different. But the bottle is my friend. Spoken like a true alcoholic. Also, I like that the cape gets tied under the tie for some reason. Like, you put on your shirt, you put on your collared shirt, you put on your jacket, you put on your cloak, and then you tie over it. Power tie. There's no less of a friend than you, and has stood by my side even longer than you have. In all technicality, Ron, if we get 44 hours in, and for some reason, I just can't stand to play another minute of this game. Technically, we'll end it after the tickets. I cannot foresee a universe in which that happens, and I wouldn't do that unless I meant it. I can't foresee that happening, but if we truly get 44 in, and I'm like, I legitimately hate this. Again, I can't foresee that happening. Considering the only other work of this guy that I know is Silent Hill F, which I loved the story of, and I know a lot of people love the story of this, but in all technicality, I have to give you that it could happen. The odds are slim. And again, I wouldn't do that as a joke. I'd have to actually really be not enjoying my time with it, like actively, which I don't foresee happening. But since the possibilities are there, I have to say it. It has stood by my side even longer than you have. The bottle, yes. As the man bearing his chest for the stethoscope rearranged his clothes, he spoke unapologetically. Also, be ready for me to screw up every name, but we all know that. That's not new. That's every visual novel we do. Kinzo-san. Your body only appears to be well, thanks to the effects of the medicine. However, if you continue to drink such strong spirits, the treatment will become meaningless. Trust my judgment. Refrain from drinking. Thank you, though only for the sentiment. Wow. My friend. Genji. Another glass. Water it down slightly. I'm still gonna die. It's gonna be slightly slower. Maybe. That way Nanjo can save face. Wow. Wow. Are you quite sure? Voice sounds familiar. Well, I'm assuming I'm going to recognize at least some voices from this. Text-to-speech will be great. Oh, yeah. After eyeing both the masters who demanded the alcohol and the family doctor who forbade it, Genji, the old butler, silently gave a silent nod and carried out his master's orders faithfully. Also, I've seen that painting once or twice around. Crazy to think, you know. Maybe occasionally seen that. The family doctor, Nanjo, let out a deep sigh once again as he watched the butler busy himself alongside the liquor cabinet. There was a smell filling up the room. This sweet, poisonous aroma felt as though it melted the heart, if not the soul itself. It was the smell of that venomous green drink that the men couldn't bear to part with. Absinthe? You know, maybe he is overdoing the bottle a bit. Awkwardly bad dub. Google Translate text-to-speech after Umineko. Oh, man. So the ones here? Maybe. I don't know. I have not seen the anime. But it would make sense if they got the same people. It would make sense. Nanjo, you are my close friend. We've known each other for quite a long time. So obviously I'm not going to listen to you when you say, stop drinking. I'm deeply grateful for all that you have done to keep me alive this long. Still not going to listen to you. I have done nothing. After all, you never listened to my advice as your physician. And you never listen when I warn you about a mistaken chess move you're about to make. Those things are definitely equal. 100% equal things. Seems only fair, does it not? Does it? Is it actually done much? Okay. I guess he's just got that voice. Master? Thank you. I wouldn't die if I ran out of your medicine, but I would if I ran out of this. I feel like this is... It's like that episode of It's Always Sunny where they go to quarantine long before, you know, the pandemic. A separate thing. Just a quarantine because it's like something going around. And they all just start falling apart and being awful and terrible and sneezing and coughing and just vomiting. And they all seem like they've got the worst flu imaginable. And it turns out it's just because they got quarantined and haven't had anything to drink for a day. And as soon as they have like a sip of something, they all perk right up. They all acknowledge that, you know, maybe that's not great, and then go about their lives anyway. It's very good. Disregarding Nanjo, who had his face set in a resigned expression, Kinzo took the glass that Genji was holding out to him. Very few people would associate that venomous color with an alcoholic beverage, unless they've seen absinthe. I've not actually drank absinthe myself, but I've seen my friends drink it, so I've seen the beverage. Nanjo, be honest with me. How much time do I have left? Depends how much you're going to keep hitting the bottle. Well now, how short must I make it to convince you to set the bottle aside? You could say 5 minutes, and he'd go that 5 minutes drinking, I can already tell. Nanjo once again let out a sigh of resignation. Then he finally spoke to Kinzo as the latter swirled his glass. You don't have long. What precisely do you mean by that? Let us illustrate it with the chess game here. You have very nearly achieved checkmate. You have not yet cornered my king. Nanjo's gaze was directed at a side table with a massive chess set placed on top of it. Judging by the positioning of the pieces, the game seemed to be entering its final stage. Excuse me. The black stork and bishop were cutting deeply into enemy lines. Well, they were prepared to, at least. White's king had already been castled and cornered so that even an amateur could see that the match would reach its conclusion before too long. Every time Nanjo came to give a medical examination, both of them would make a few more moves. Nanjo was hinting that Kinzo would most likely fall into his eternal sleep before this game could be concluded. Ooh. Dog assist. These were less the words of a physician than they were the words of an old friend. Who also happened to be a physician who knows about these things. If you're a normal patient, I would recommend that you write a will at this point. What is a will, Nanjo? Well, it's a legally binding piece of document that states what happens to your money, belongings, and, you know, what is a will? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk, have at you! They both sit at the chess table again. Tosses his alcoholic glass aside. Handwritten instructions to the vultures on how to devour and scatter my corpse. No, not at all. As the word suggests, it is a way for you to record your will for later generations. It's far more than just a means to divide up your inheritance. Apart from the division of the inheritance, what might I write of? You might write of your regrets, matters you have left unfinished, things you want to pass down to others, or merely matters you wish to communicate. Anything you want. Things I want to pass down to others, or matters I wish to communicate. Ridiculous. Ushiromiya Kinzo have not one thing I want to tell or leave behind. I'm born with nothing. I will die with nothing. There is nothing I wish to leave to my foolish children. Damn, such a friendly... It's fine. Yeah. Don't worry, oh, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll still screw it up, at least occasionally. Even if the end were to come today, even if it were to come right now, I would accept that fate of death without a trace of fear. It's because you'll be drunk. It's because you'll be drunk. I created everything. My fortune. My prestige. Everything. Those were built up by me, and they will be lost along with me. There's nothing I wish to leave behind. Nothing. After I'm gone, I care not if it all goes to waste. I desire no tomb, no coffin. Those were the terms of the contract I made with the witch. When I die, everything will be lost. You know, I imagine that just coming off of finishing Fate Stay Night and being in the middle of Witch on the Holy Night is definitely not going to impact how I read anything in this whatsoever. You know, Fate and Morgana being the one we played right before, you know. That has been part of the promise since the beginning. That is why nothing will be left behind. It's true. When I read Witch in this context, I still definitely think Morgana more than I think Witch on the Holy Night right now. But I'm only like 5 chapters into that, so there's nothing I can leave behind. After reaching a furious crescendo, Kinzo suddenly slumped over. His expression was limp and feeble, as though an evil spirit had possessed him and then left. Yeah, he's an alcoholic. You're just describing. However, I do have one regret. I thought you said you had no regrets whatsoever. You lying-ass man. I have nothing to leave behind, but there's one thing I cannot leave. You would do well to write it down. Of course, it would be best if you could finish it before your time comes. However, even if the worst happens, those who come after will carry it to your completion. You know, the next expedition. You must leave behind your regrets so that they can be resolved, even if you are unable to do so yourself. Yeah, a little bit of trauma. That is the purpose of a will. I should just remember where I leave off when I looked at chat. When Nanjo tried to gently pat Kinzo's shoulders, the dying man flew into a sudden rage and batted away Nanjo's hand. It's useless. Must be done while I still live. At the moment of my death, my soul will be devoured by the demons of the contract and wipe out of existence. Oh yeah, of course. Damn it! Now we have to get a pair of like cat ear headbands and just put it over a spray every time it's on the camera. I will not be doing that. Because not only do I not want to, that would also, if I tab out of this without unfull screening it, it minimizes it. So I'd have to shrink it, toggle the thing on, move it, maximize it, which would move it. Like, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. But it would be funny. For me, there will be no peace or another world after death. That is why everything must be completed before I go. It would be so much effort. It would be very funny, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, different word, but I still thought Muna, you know. So everything must be completed before I go. I think that's why a will has no meaning for me. And even if I had a chance to write such a thing, if I did have such a chance, I'd want to see it. I want to see it one more time. I want to see Beatrice's smiling face one last time. Oh, Beatrice, why have you resisted me for so long? I'll return everything you have given me. I'm prepared to lose everything. So please show me your smile just one more time. Beatrice, I beg of you, you must be able to hear my plea. That's the kind of woman you are. But omnipotent? I beg of you, show yourself to me. You're here, aren't you? You're standing there, invisible, listening to every word I say, and even now you're mocking me from somewhere in this room, aren't you? Please appear before me once more and smile. Feel free to scold me, even snatch away my life by your own hands if you so desire. I don't want to die alone like this. It's literally 2 other people in this room looking at him like, bro, we're right here. I cannot let myself die until I've seen you smile just one more time. Beatrice. It's definitely supposed to be Beatrice, right? Like... Oh, I'm sure, yeah. It's Italian. I refuse. It's Beatrice. Sorry. Even knowing, nah. I offer up this life of mine. I offer it up to you. I would assume, yeah. But I'm begging you, Beatrice. very passionate man. Oh, they gave me the option between 2 different chapter openers, and they're like, hey, the OGs might contain spoilers. We redid some of them, so these are the redone ones. Not that I think I'd be able to piece together the spoilers anyway, but whatever. Why do it if you can help it? So yeah. So this is the, I guess they like slightly, the mod makers slightly redone it just to avoid spoilers. Which is cool. But it is a super anime thing to just spoil something in the opening of any chapter. That is super anime. Just is. So what's the matter? Yeah, exactly. But I figured if I have the choice, like I wouldn't skip them if the choice wasn't there, but having the choice, screw it. Go with the one. Yeah. Like Attack on Titan. Yeah. Guru no Yumi just kicks up out of nowhere. Look, I'm not saying this game would be better with Linked Horizon slash what's his name, the guy from Bravely Default doing the soundtrack, but I would say it'd be powerful. You ever watch anime? Yeah, that's fair. Look, I don't think it's crazy to say that a visual novel known to be this dense and this long being condensed down to a season or 2 of anime wouldn't work. And if I was going to experience that content, I'd go for the visual novel. The first day, this is the first day, October 4th, 1986. 86, okay, so we're mid-80s. I kind of feel like, I'm pretty sure, Witch on the Holy Night is like late 80s at this rate now, too. So, I guess I'm in 2 games at the moment in roughly the same time period. They look also weird. The anime is a war cry. Okay. Also made it before the final chapter is out. Oh! Oh, that's stupid. Why? Okay. I was going to say, why would you do that? But people do that all the time. That's why we need a Soul Eater Brotherhood. We're never going to get it. But we need it. Also, why people should just read Soul Eater. The anime is phenomenal. Watch the anime up to the point it diverts and then read the rest of it. But, you know. Whoa. Things sure move with the times. Can't believe we'll be able to make the trip in just 20 minutes. So my friends who are in Japan right now have a flight leaving Tokyo at 10:45 p.m. tomorrow night. Cool. They arrive in New York City at 10:55 p.m. tomorrow night. Because of, you know, the international dateline, their flight takes 10 minutes.
It's magic.
Isn't that great? From Tokyo to New York City in 10 minutes, technically. I don't know, that was pretty funny to me. And then as soon as they were like, oh, it's only 20 minutes, immediately thought of it. I couldn't help but scratch my head and marvel at how far things had come in recent years. We used to go by boat. Back then, we were all forced to endure nearly half a day of swaying back and forth over the sea before we reached Nijima. Nijima? Did the 2 I's really change the pronunciation too much? Or is Nijima still going to be close enough? The male protag of Minor Cameo 2. Oh, nifty. Okay. Things have gotten so much more convenient these days. Still, I've never been on a plane this small. I do, but don't worry about it. Look, I'm trying. I've flown in a huge jumbo jet before, but this will be my first experience with such a tiny one. It's gonna shake, isn't it? They say smaller boats shake more than big ones, so I guess the same rule probably applies to planes. Ah, just spare me. Don't worry, Battler-kun. Battler-kun. Shakes much less than that boat did. Is that you, George Aniki? It's very traditional Japanese names. Very traditional. Battler and George. A freaking upside down cross for his zipper. Going want a little extra, you know. Don't scare me like that. You just shaved 3 years off my life. I also feel like there's definitely something to be said for the like white pristine outside jacket, but the like Shadow the Hedgehog black and red with a black vest underneath. Anyway, what's shaking got to do with anything? You don't think I'm actually scared of the plane shaking or maybe falling out of the sky or something, right? 70% curious outfit. You're not wrong. Just, you know, with embellishments. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna miss everything, don't worry. Of course not, my mistake. I see you've changed a lot since we last saw you. After all, it's been 6 years since then. You're not a kid anymore. Sheesh, and here you are, old enough to smoke and drink. Got no interest in smoking, but I've always wanted to try some booze. No, we've seen the path that leads you down. Yeah, like, if I was playing it solo, I probably would, but imagine me having to, like, press F and tab out to, like, a notepad or something. I guess I could have a physical, but even that's, like, it's just me doing this every, like, I could, and again, if I was doing it solo, maybe I would. But for streaming purposes, I'm not gonna. It's fine. Y'all can just tell me all the stuff I forgot after it happens, and it's fine. And it's already gonna take forever because it's just interrupting it and tangenting. So, you know. Oh, yeah, no. Like, I'd be the same. I'd remember, like, broad stroke stuff, but, like, the details lost to time, so. Well, if you got your dad's genes, I'll bet you can hold your own when it comes to drinking, right? Well, I usually drink for business rather than pleasure. It's pretty hard to do business in Japan without it. I already hate that laugh. Such a cool laugh. That's exactly right. That's why I never miss a chance. I can't say hate per se, but it definitely, like, rubs the wrong way. That's why I never miss a chance to get in some practice. It's no good. He's still a minor. But you know alcohol can stunt the growth of... Never mind. Come on, I'm tall enough already. Not what he was talking about. In fact, it'd be easier to find clothes if I shrunk a little. I don't know if anything's gonna shrink you. I mean, you can cut your feet off. That'll do it. You know. I puffed my chest out proudly. Until I hit my growth spurt, my height was below average in my class. But then I grew and grew, and before I knew it, I'd passed 180 centimeters. 5 foot, 11 inches. An inch shorter than me. Think you're special? Huh? Guess I'll have all that muscle training and those shady mail-order performance-enhancing drugs to thank for that. Before that, I never dreamed that I'd shoot 10 centimeters above George Haneke, who'd reached his peak height early on. Damn. But my relatives all say, look how big you've grown, Battler-chan, or something. It's also embarrassing. I like the concept of loving that he grew up, loving that he's taller than his friend, but hating that his relatives would be like, wow, you've grown, as if that's not the exact same thing he just claimed to be very happy about. Did his heart grow 3 sizes that day? No. Definitely not. Looking at the left monitor, all I can see is puff, 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 puff. I wish they'd just give me a break. Anyway, my name, Battler. Well, it's pretty damn weird, don't you think? I gotta wonder what my parents were thinking when they named me that. I've never met anyone who could read it right the first time. I usually get called Sentoku. I'm sure that makes sense in context of Japanese. I'm sure the writing / pronunciations are just very close, but here, not... Very different in English. Sorry, that's not even close. Agreed. My name is written... Ah. Yes. Sure. I believe it. wholeheartedly. Can't read it, but I believe it. Why would he lie about how his name is written? Can you read it? No. Sorry. Name ignores. Why would they do that? Is this the Japanese version of Ashley from the KFC game? Is that what this is? Is that what this is? The name is in English. Okay, so it's definitely not exact one-to-one to that. But it's still the why would the parents do this level. The first part is my family name. Ushiromiya. Ushiromiya. That's a fairly plausible Japanese pronunciation so far. The problem is my given name. It is made up of the characters for fight and person. Ah, okay. Gotcha. So, if you were to read those kanji, it would not be pronounced that way. But thematically, yeah. Put it all together, and you've got Ushiromiya.
Should we take this outside? Are we outside?
The drunk announcer will always be the best. Pretty crazy, right? That was so good. But the thing is, when is it like Battler after he drinks once? I mean, I know George said it's in his genes to be able to tolerate his alcohol, but viewed the other way, it's in his genes to be an alcoholic. Maybe you should be cautious of that. Maybe you should be a little more careful, dude. You have alcoholism running strong through your veins. It's crazy enough that my parents decided to call me that, but it's even more crazy that some government worker let them make it official. Both groups are at the top of my must-kill list. Anyway, this is one of my cousins. His name is pronounced Ushiromiya George. He's 5 years older than me, so he must be turning 23 this year. Since the Ushiromiya cousins consist of 2 boys and 2 girls, I ended up playing with George all the time. Because I've always thought of him as a big brother, I still call him Aniki to this day. Whoa, Battler-kun, look how big you've gotten! You know what they say, leave a boy for 3 days and you'll hardly recognize him. Must be in his blood. No, alcoholism is in his blood. Didn't you hear me? Rudolph wasn't that tall either until his high school years. Perhaps some people end up taller if their growth spurt comes late. Sensing a ongoing like family crest motif. I'm assuming a family crest of some sort. Nah, it's nothing special. A real man needs to be tough on the inside, too. Exactly. Battler-kun here knows how it works. A real man win or lose based on what they've got on the inside. Namely, alcohol. Can't ever forget to keep up your training and discipline. Gotta do that. Wait very alertly for the perfect moment and strike. Now, I never even imagined that I'd become the company president I am today, master of my own domain. So if his company bought another company in a merger, would that be his domain expansion? Yep, to think I've come this far after starting out penniless and ruined. I haven't even seen Jujutsu Kaisen. That's why. Hey Grim, how's it going? Welcome to Viper Light in the chat. How you doing? This stout, plump old guy is George Aniki's dad, Uncle Hideyoshi. He's the husband of Dad's older sister. In other words, we're not blood related. He's nice to children, sociable all the time, and even quick to give out some spending money to us kids. Simply put, he's an awesome uncle. He speaks in an old and very noticeable Kansai dialect, but he's actually a natural-born Kanto man. Apparently impressions are everything in the business world. Speaking in a different style than other people is an act that makes him stick out more. However, I hear he gets embarrassed when talking within the earshot of a real Kansai person, so he switches back to standard Japanese. I don't really get it, but he's definitely an interesting person. It's terrible, yeah.
す
No,
ぐ
that's fair.
自分の自慢話に入っちゃ
Oh,
う
you
の
weren't
が
so
たま
quick
に
to
傷
brag
なの
about
よ
your
ね
life story.
およしなさい
That's enough for now, I
な
think.
バトラ君
I'm sure
耳に
Battler's
タコ
getting
がで
tired
き
of
ちゃっ
it.
てるんだからねえ
Aren't you?
そんな
Nope,
ことねえ
not
っ
at
すよ
all.
でもいいじゃないっすか
Nothing wrong with that. She has the glove equivalent of Titus's shorts. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
語れる武勇伝が
I
ある
think
っ
it's
ての
pretty
は
cool for a man to have some
男とし
stories
て
he can
かっ
brag
こいいことだと思いますよ
about. Or rise his socks. Yeah, same idea. I guess it's to show off the I'm gonna say tattoo. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tattoo, but you know. But then why not wear two, you know, wrist gloves instead of like a upper forearm glove? Also, why a belt buckle? Why did that need a buckle? Fans are all just happy family slice of life stories. Yes, all of them. Mm-hmm. Gotta have your shoulder belt buckle. I think it's pretty cool for a man to have some stories he can brag about.
俺なんか
I don't have anything like
語
that
る
at
ような
all.
話は何もないっすからね
あらそう
Oh, really?
バトラ君なんか
I'd imagine a man
そ
with
の
your
ルック
looks
ス
would
で
leave girls
いっぱい
crying left and
女の
right.
子を泣かせてそうだからさぞかし武
I
勇
can't
伝
believe you
が
have
多
nothing
そう
at
だと
all
思
to
った
brag
んだけ
about.
ど
Oh, okay. Man, you couldn't get more different for characters, though. You really can't. Which does mean that when Ramen eventually sits down and plays Fate, Ramen will be like, oh, hey, yeah, I know that. She's great. I love her. Do not want her as a teacher. Love her as a character. What? Yeah. You're joking, right? Of course nothing weird like that's ever happened to me. Heck, I wish it would.
あらあるんでしょ
I never would have noticed because they're so different. Come on, you aren't fooling anyone. I must tell you all about it later. I don't, as an uncle, I don't know if I want to hear my nephew's sexual escapades. Mind you, he's definitely too young for that right now. But even when he hits like high school, I don't want, no, don't tell me about that. Ever. Nah. Hard pass. That's weird. That's weird.
ジョージったら
After all, nothing of the
そう
sort
いう
ever
熱
happens
い
to
話が
George.
全然ないんだから
So we have learned that George does not fuck. Good to know. No, I don't have the hunger for gossip. Not that, at least. Isn't he in the room? Isn't George literally here? This is George Anaki's mother. Oh. Oh, that's so... Aunt Eva. She's my dad's older sister. She and Uncle Hideyoshi are a pair of jokers, and they've always teased me back as far as I can remember. This sometimes made them a bit harder to get along with when I was small. Well, I guess the events of the last 30 seconds prove that they can still be hard to get along with. Eiko. Cool. Even so, George Anaki's family is interesting and fun, and they seem to get along just fine. Sheesh, it's pretty much the total opposite of my family.
バトラ君
Battler-kun?
ルドルフさんを見なかった
Why the... Look, as a Final Fantasy fan, I shouldn't be questioning belts. However, why? Why? Have you seen Rudolph-san?
あ
Huh?
さっきお
He
手
headed
洗
off
い
to
に
the
行くのを見
bathroom
ま
a
した
while
け
ago.
どまだ出て
Is
こ
he
ない
not
んす
back
か
yet?
こりゃ
Maybe the
ぽっ
poor
くり
geezer
しまっ
dropped
た
dead.
かなナムナムナムナム
What? Is that supposed to be like praying for the dead? I clearly wouldn't get it, Grim. And you know, fine. I do appreciate that she pins her tie under the boobs to make sure that it is taut over them. Very important. How else would you accentuate them further than you already do? Could we do that for an oof? I don't know. I'm down too if we can even figure out the replay. I think Mom said it's probably tab.
バトラ君
It is not tab. Tab progresses. I don't know. Backlog, probably that. Okay. Switch it back to English. Yeah, gonna do that. Don't worry. Well, let's do that before we save. Then.
バトラ君
There we go. All right, system. We're gonna save anyway. I hope we don't have too many. He's gonna play it every time we come back here, because I do need to go to options, do music plus sound effect minus. Go over to system. I don't know if it'll let Ramen as a mod. It should let you. Can you do exclamation point marker? See if it works for you. The way to do it though, no other way besides. Nope, it doesn't. All right, I got it. Just so I can find the clip later. Just makes it easier. It's not marker. What was it? I swear it was marker. Boo. Alright, whatever. Screw it. Backlog. Backlog doesn't let you play it. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. I'll manage. Language swapping on the line with the tab or the button. Oh, crap. Alright. Well, maybe I can grab it from before. If not, I'm sure there's plenty of other versions of this out there. Go back to full screen. But I'll try to remember before going forward next time. Yeah, when we swap languages, it does replay it. So that's good. So you can play the full page. Yeah, leeway. Okay.
ルドルフさんを見なかった
Oh, so it will do it here anyway. Okay. Hold on.
あ、さっきお手洗いに行くのを見ましたけど、まだ出てこないんすか？こりゃ、ぽっくりいっちまったかな。ナムナムナムナム。
Okay. So now we go back to music. I think it was 25. Honestly, I think 30 is fine. And continue on. And hope I can find that later.
自分のお父さんにそんな言い方はないでしょ
There's no way to talk about your own father.
まあ、
Still,
あの人のお手
this
洗い
isn't
が
the first
長い
time
の
he's
は
taken so long
今
in
に
the
始
bathroom.
まったことじゃないしね。
あ
Yeah,
あ、
that's
アンギャ
always
ルは
been that
昔
way.
からそうです。雑誌持ってトイレ
Does
に
he
入
really
る
have
の
to
やめ
take
て
a
ほしいですよ
magazine with him
ね。
every time he needs to take a dump?
何の雑誌持ち込
And
ん
what
で
on earth is he doing in there with those
何をして
particular
んだか
magazines?
あら、
Oh, you don't
そ
need
ん
to
な
worry
心
about that
配
at
は全
all.
然不要よ。私と一緒に
Since
い
we've
る
been
以
together,
上
I haven't let
そ
him
ん
do
な
that
こと
on
一
his
人で
own.
させやしないもの。
Oh. We are learning some interesting things about some of these characters already. That's not something you should have an evil laugh at.
何の話
Oh,
か。
I'll have to get the
後で
juicy
じっく
details
り
later.
聞きたい
Why
です
would he?
ね。
That's your. I, this family wants to know weird things about each other.
親父め。
Sounds like Dad's got his balls in an iron grip.
握っとかないとどうい
You
うこ
know
とになる
exactly what
か
happened with that
よ
man
く
if
わ
I
かって
didn't
る
keep a
でしょ
tight grip, don't you?
いやいや、全く。
No kidding.
あのクソ親父
You're
の
the
と
only
す
one
は
capable of
ヒゲ
reining
さん
in
にしか
that
無理っ
old
す。
bastard.
実の息子の俺も喜
As his
ん
son,
で譲っ
I'm
ちゃい
more
ます
than
わ。
happy to let you take over.
ええ、任せ
Yes,
てちょう
leave
だ
it
い。
all to me.
そういうの得意なのよ。
After all, that's my specialty. She sounds a bit familiar too. This woman is my father's wife. Her name is Ushiromiya Kyrie? 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 As you can probably tell from our conversation, she's not my real mother. She's basically my stepmother. My mom died 6 years ago, and Kairi-san is the woman Dad married afterwards. It's understandable for someone my age. I could never bring myself to call his new wife Mom. And I doubt she feels like using the word son on this massive kid who's no relation to her at all. We aren't little kids. We know there's nothing to be gained by fighting. So we decided that we wouldn't force ourselves to pretend that we were family. I've decided to act a bit more frank with her, acting as though she's a friendly neighbor instead. It's much easier if we just keep a little distance, instead of forcing ourselves to act all close and making each other uncomfortable. Kairi-san has always been very open about all this, and thanks to that, we've been able to get along pretty well. Oh, okay. Definitely why she sounds familiar. Yep. Balance Jotaro, really? Okay. Then, just when we were bad-mouthing Dad about being in the bathroom, the man himself came back, wiping his hands with a handkerchief. Battler? Hey, what's up, Dad? What was that sound effect? Did he just poke him? Don't pinch my ear! Oh, okay. So, you've been talking trash about me with Mom again, haven't you? What makes it so hard? I know that voice, too. Like, I feel like I recognize half this cast. What makes it so hard to show a little respect for your father? Is that frickin'... Is that Soul Bad Guy? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Must have an iron grip on that boy's ear. Damn it, that hurts. You can stretch my hair all you want, but I'm not going to be able to fly. That hurts. Come on now. Up. Up. Down. Down. Are you doing the Konami code with his ears? Left. Right. Right. What cheat code? Down, down, left, right. Oh, okay, so that does do that. Alright. It's gonna unlock the infinite lives cheat. Now say, Father, please forgive me for being so rude. Oh, what's that? Like hell I will. Go find yourself some members only store if you want it that much. Yeah, let go! No. Sorry, mouse is up there. Let's get that out of the way. This old bastard is my dad. I think I'm pretty tall myself, but Dad is just about as tall as I am. It's no surprise Aunt Ava started talking about Dad's blood when she saw my height. By the way, my height isn't the only thing I got from him. It seems having weird names runs on the family. Dad's full name is written... You can't read it, can you? No. Come on, it's just... Anyway, this guy's name is pronounced Rudolph. Huh, he must hate Grandfather for giving him that name. Still, that's no reason to pass that weird naming tradition on to me. As the old bastard twisted my ear all over the place, Aunt Ava snuck up behind him and grabbed his ear. Hey, Rudolph! That is a hell of a way to say Rudolph. You should know better than to physically abuse your son. Aneki. A scene perfectly illustrated the relationship between the prankster younger brother and the older sister who could deal out punishment to him despite his size. Okay. I think that's good enough for now, Eva and Nissan.
同じ分
I'll make sure to
後
stretch
で
out
反
his
対の
other
耳
ear
を
later
私が引っ
on.
張って伸ばした
ごめんな
Oh,
さ
my
い
apologies.
ね。キリエさんの引っ張
I
る
must
分
leave
も
some
残
pulling
して
for
お
you
か
to
なくち
do,
ゃ。
curious Kairi-san. Oh my. You know, phrasing.
ルドルフ、
Rudolph.
後でたっ
Make sure Kairi-san gives you lots and lots of punishment later on, okay? Kirei, not Kairi. Okay. I'll try to remember that. Kirei. Yeah, that makes sense looking at it now.
たく
You were to talk to Aniki. Aniki, abusing your little brother like that. Siblings
秀吉
clearly
兄さんも
never.
こんな姉貴を拾ってくれて
Hideyoshi Nissan, I'd like to thank you very much for picking her up.
兄さんの寛
If
大
you
さが
hadn't been so
なかったら
generous, she'd still be
今でもまだ
unsold in the
上に残
store.
ってますよ弟として申し
You
訳
have
な
my
いです
gratitude and apologies.
うーん、
What?
誰が売れ残る
What are you
って
calling Excuse me. After taking 3 steps back, Aunt Ava unleashed one of her beautiful high reverse roundhouse kicks. Ah. There's still some tiger blood in there. Absolutely. Which stopped just a centimeter away from the tip of Dad's nose. After starting out with Tai Chi Chuan for her figure, Aunt Ava then developed an interest in the Chinese martial arts. After that, she went through karate, taekwondo, capoeira, and what is it she's learning now again? Well, anyway, they say a woman's weapons are in her lower body, and that's literally true for Ava.
ルドルフ、側頭部直
Rudolph,
撃だ
did you
と
know that a single
一発で
direct blow to
コン
the
トロー
side of the
する
head like that would knock you unconscious?
この間演舞で
Not
ミ
so
ス
long
っ
ago, I
て
accidentally
相
connected in a
方泡
practice
吹い
match
ちゃ
my
ったん
opponent
だ
was
から
out cold.
ね。
Sheesh, what a pain.
足癖の悪い姉貴で
I'm so sorry she can't
本
help
当に申し訳
walking
ない
like
で
a
す
freak. Dad, completely unfazed, struggled and smiled ironically at Uncle Hideyoshi, or shrugged. Never had a brother or sister myself.
だから
So when I see you two bickering with each other, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
兄弟や家族
Sure is
は
nice to have a big
ほんま
family.
にええもんやな
あらジョージ
Oh,
君に
then why
弟
not
を
consider
作って
making
あ
a
げ
little
るとい
brother
う
for
話は
George
ないんですか
Kun? Oh my.
もうジョージ君も立派
Already
な
a
大
fine
人にな
adult
っ
who's
て
about to go off
手
on
も
his
離
own,
れた
so
で
it
し
might
ょ
be
う
a
か
good
ら
time to have another
次
child.
の子がいてもいいでしょう。
おいおいキ
Hey,
リ
have a little sympathy for the
生
new
まれ
kid
てくるこの
and all the
苦労
pain and
を考
suffering
え
that
て
he'd have to live through.
よくこの昭和
Surprised
の
even
兄貴から
George
生まれ
Kun
て
turned out as well as he did
ジョー
after
ジ
being
君は
born from this sinister
まっす
sister
ぐ
of
育
mine.
ってくれたもんさ本当にジョージ君
And what an
も偉いね
awesome kid he is.
うちのボンクラに
Please share some of that with our
爪の
blockhead of a
垢を
son
分けて
someday,
やって
will
く
you?
れよ
そんなことない
It's
わ
not at
よ。
all how it happened.
エヴァ姉さんの
It's
教
thanks to
育が
Ava
間違ってな
Nissan's
かったか
proper
ら
rearing that
ジョー
George
ジ
Kun
君はあ
became
ん
the
なに素
kind,
直な
gentle
いい子
kid
に
he
な
is
った
now.
ですよね。
Isn't that
姉
right,
さん
Nissan?
あら、
Oh,
あ
come
ら
now.
そん
You think so?
な。どうかしら。うちのジョ
Our
ージも
George
ま
still
だ
has
ま
a
だ
long
頼
way
り
to
な
go.
くって。そうそう。
Ah, by
そ
the
れよ
way,
りお
how's
宅
your
のエン
little
ジちゃんはどんな具合なの？
Angie-chan?
吐
Doing?
いちゃったっ
I
て
heard she
聞
was
いたけ
vomiting.
ど。
That's the alcoholism. Sid in 14, Rudolph? Okay. I use the English voices in 14, but interesting. Oh, that's right.
久しぶり
And I
に
was
顔
hoping
が
to
見え
finally
る
see
と
her
思っ
face
て
after
期
such a
待
long
してたん
time.
や大丈夫な
Is
ん
she
か
okay?
いつも季節の変わり目に風邪をひくんです。
She often catches a cold when the seasons change.
どうも
She's
弱
very
く
frail.
て本当は連れ
I
てき
did
たか
want
っ
to
たん
bring
です
her
けど
along, but we
今
decided to
回
have
は
my
私
family
の
look
実家に
after her
面
this
倒見
time.
てもらっています
それが賢
think that's a
明
wise
よ
move.
本家の
She'll
毒気
heal
に
a
当
lot
てない
better
方
if she
が
stays
治
away
りが
from
早
that
い
venomous
も
head
の。
family household.
大人の
A
都
child's
合よ
health
り
is always more
子
important
供
than
の
an
病
adult's
気の方が
convenience,
大事
don't you
よ
think?。
わしな
I know some great medicine for vomiting, colds like that, or vomiting and colds like that.
帰ったらすぐ送るさかい
When we get back home, I'll send some to you right away. So please let her try some.
ありがとうございます
Thank you very
秀
much,
吉兄さん
Hideyoshi-san.
いつもお世話になりっぱな
Always
し
in your
で
debt. And once the conversation suddenly veered off in that direction, we kids didn't have any chance of butting in. For now, I'm just happy Aunt Ava gave Dad his just desserts for tugging on my ear.
まだ天候
Still
調
waiting
査
for
中
the
がなく
weather
ならない
report?
ね。
No, that's also Jojo. George Aniki pointed at the counter. The checking weather sign was still stuck next to the departure times for the flight we were scheduled to board. According to Aniki, small planes are more subject to winds and other effects of the weather. I mean, that checks out. And it's not at all uncommon for flights to be delayed because of that. Wait a sec. We are totally sure it's not going to shake, right? From down here on the ground, it just looks cloudy and not windy. Well, I guess it's different up where the planes fly. Weather's a bit uncertain today. Also, my ability to blow my nose. There we go. So hey here, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of recognizable voices around here. Aunt Ava looked at a TV in the lounge. Why is my phone going? Oh. My phone just lit up to tell me I can manage my channel dashboard from here. Like, yeah, I know. Not only have I known for years, like a decade now, but also it's an hour in the stream. Thanks. Super helpful, yeah. Game's going. I'm only mispronouncing most of the names instead of all of them, so that's great. Weather forecast was being broadcasted, informing us that a typhoon was approaching the Kanto region. Typhoon again. Yeah, those damn typhoons, so inconvenient. Guess there's no helping it with the annual family conference being held in October. Couldn't we have chosen a better season? I agree. I always hoped we could have it sometime around the Oban Festival in mid-August. In that case, why don't you suggest that to Father and Nissan during the conference? Very funny. Why don't you do it yourself? Our brother would never listen to anything I suggested. Oh, a name I recognize mildly, yeah. No way. It doesn't really bother me that much to have it in October. I was just saying you might want to propose it, since you said you hate typhoons so much. I only say that typhoons always come around this time of year. You're the one who said you wanted to move it to the Oban Festival, right? Oh, you said it too last year. Didn't you say that it would be easier to fit it into your schedule if you had it during the Oban Festival? You never said anything like that. Oh yes, you did. I certainly wouldn't forget something like that. No, I didn't. You're the one saying that all the time. Didn't you know? Stopping a kick just a hair's breadth away from an impact is a very high-level technique. Jeez, women your age shouldn't spread their legs like that. Siblings, alright. Dad and Aunt Ava's argument looked no different from a couple of brats quarreling. Even though they usually behave like normal parents, they turn right back into kids again when they meet their siblings at these family conferences. You're the one who looks like a real adult, analyzing it all calmly. I hope I never turn out like that old bastard. I'd much rather end up as an intellectual adult like you, Aniki. Like me? Well, I still have a long way to go. I still have very little experience out there in the real world, and I need to work on becoming more confident and sociable. I think you far surpassed me on all of these counts, Badminton. I'm sure you'll outstrip me fast enough when you become an adult. Excuse me. George Aniki scratched his head and laughed, as though trying to hide his embarrassment. Of course, he was just being humble. Aniki entered a university and became an apprentice at Uncle Hideyoshi's company at the same time, studying both academics and how to become a business emperor in parallel. Then, right after graduating, he got into Uncle Hideyoshi's company as his father's aide, piling up a lot of real-life experience as he devoted himself zealously to his work. His great dream is to one day stand on his own and build up his own kingdom. Aniki is a real paragon of a man, sparing no effort as he strives towards his goal. It is no exaggeration to say that I really respect him. Japanese Bayo. Damn. And then there's me. I'm nothing at all like Aniki. Living my happy-go-lucky idle high school life to the max. Got no dreams for the future. I'd like to just sit back, stay cool, and let the money flow in, but of course that could never happen. When Aniki was my age, he had already formed an impressive objective and had started devoting himself towards studying for that goal. So I guess I can't compare at all. My dad just says, sure, you can study at my company if you like, cleaning toilets. Damn, I'm not going to be in the debt of that old bastard. I'll find my way myself. If only willpower was all it took to become an adult. Should I go on one of those self-searching journeys that are all the rage these days? Well, it's not like I could mooch off my parents for that kind of money. Right then, Uncle Hideyoshi shouted out loudly. He's a really nice person on the whole, but he does have a problem controlling the volume of his voice. When I looked over, I saw that he was greeting Aunt Rosa, who had come late.
Oh, Rosa-sanやないか.
If it isn't Rosa-san!
Maria-chan, 久しぶりやの.
Maria-chan, long time no see! Long time no see. I can't help but see, anytime I see like a little crown, I don't know. I just think Kingdom Hearts. I can't help it. I mean, you know, seems a little pompous, but also screw it, whatever.
Maria?
Maria, shouldn't that be, it's good to see you again? Greet your uncle properly. Man, they are very subtle about their family crest. It is subtlety to the max. Especially the fact that the person who's only in the family by marriage doesn't have it. It's good to see you again. There you go. Well said. Everyone is into Arumono. I mean, you know, that checks out too. How about some candy as a reward? Oh, huh? Where did I put it? Rosa-san, good to see you again. Yeah, same era definitely helps. Good to see you too, Maria-chan. It's been too long. Carrie, how does she say it? I know how you said it, and I believe you. That sounds like Kyrie to my ears. Like, hearing it... Oh, okay. I just read it wrong. Oh. Kyrie. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes, gotcha. Kyrie, not Kyrie. Hideyoshi-san? Leave it to me to just screw him up all the time. And... oh, my Battler-kun! What is that tie she has? Like, what is that? What is that? Like, real question. I guess it must be. Sure. Yeah. Paper slapper. Yeah. It's a cravat that you can take off and beat somebody with if you need, you know, comedic relief. Mm-hmm. Look how big you've gotten. Oh, come on. It's embarrassing hearing that from every person I meet. Then stop growing. Just stop growing, bro. Hey, Rosa. You're late. If the plane was on time, you'd barely have made it. I'm sorry. We had some trouble making our train connection. So, are we waiting on the weather again? Oh, don't complain. I much prefer the 30-minute plane trip to spending 6 hours bouncing around on a boat. Even if we kept waiting here for an hour, it's still much faster overall. There. Maria-chan's gotten huge too. So, how tall are you now? Sometimes you just have to do sound of excitement, you know? So, how tall am I now? Maria-chan parroted Uncle Hideyoshi's question, looking up at her mother. Not ready for her lies. Oh no. I guess she doesn't remember her own height. She's probably right in the middle of a growth spurt, so her height must change every month. Give it a few more years, and she'll suddenly start looking feminine. Just how tall were you the last time you got measured? You keep getting bigger and bigger, don't you? Right? And the one fang, because it's important.
I
think she's grown a lot since last year. Let's see, she turned 9 years old this year, didn't she? 9 years old. That's right, you're 9 years old now. Glad to see you're doing well too, Maria-chan. Up you go. I guess you've gotten a bit too happy to play airplane with. Sure, Janaki, what a rude thing to say to a lady. Here, I'll do it. Up you go. When I went to lift her up in Anaki's place, Maria stiffened defensively, staring suspiciously at my face. Ah, that's right. The last time I met with Maria, it was 6 years ago. She was only 3 years old. Did he not come to the family gathering last year then? Too weak to read the oohs? Fine, I'll just go ooh next time. How's that? Of course, she doesn't remember my face. Maria-chan, don't you remember? It's Battler-kun. We used to play together, remember? She's 9, yeah. Ooh. No surprise, I guess. The last time she met Battler, she was only 3. You don't keep memories at that age. She must know everyone's face apart from mine because she meets them every year, but I haven't had contact with the Ushiromiya family for about 6 years now. Yeah, 6 years ago was the last time he saw her. She was 3 at the time, so she's 9 now. Still, so it's no surprise that this 9-year-old girl doesn't have any memories of me. Even I can only just barely remember her being a 3-year-old crybaby. Maria, this is Battler Oni-chan, Rudolph Nisan's son. Understand? The brother's son is... The brother is the son... Ooh. That ooh sound was probably her brain going into overload at the complicated explanation. I guess the phrasing of that was a bit confusing. Ni or Oni, a title you use to refer to an actual older brother, can also be a friendly honorific for a boy who's only a bit older than you. It's just like ne or one, the word for big sister. Maria-chan, this is Battler-kun. I feel like she's gotten that much. I feel like that is the one thing she should probably understand. He's your cousin, like me. Like George Oni-chan. I know the ooh's coming. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Battler? Cousin? Ooh. That's right. You got it. This part of Aniki is what made me really look up to him. For someone who isn't married, he's just great at dealing with kids. I'm sure he'll be an indulgent father in the future. Battler Oni-chan? Maria looked straight at me with a questioning expression, as though asking whether it was okay to call me that.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's me. Battler. Nice to meet you, Maria. Ooh. Battler. Maria, you mustn't talk to him like that. Call him Battler Oni-chan. That's alright, Amuro. I don't sweat the small stuff. Hey, Maria. We're close enough that you don't need honorifics, right? She sounds vaguely familiar to me, but it could just be because, again, like, everyone... Like, I've played enough games of this, like, era to be like, oh yeah. Battler! Ooh. Ooh.
Oh yeah!
That's right, Maria! Her fangs swapped sides. How did it do that? How can the fang be magic? How can you have one fang on both sides, but not a fang on both sides? Ooh! We horsed around for a while to make up for the 6-year gap in our friendship. She probably still thinks of me as nothing more than a big new friend, but things will probably work out as we get to know each other again. But I'm surprised. She's just the way I remembered her being 6 years ago. Seems that people don't just change that much after all. I'm a bit happy that she's still the pure, innocent girl I remember. Her name is written... Of course, it's pronounced Maria. The third character looks like a cross, which is pretty cool. Her feelings don't usually show up on her face, so it can be difficult to know just what she's thinking. That's just how she looks on the outside. On the inside, she's just a sweet, normal girl. Then there's Maria's mother, Aunt Rosa. She's my dad's younger sister. Rosa is written... Here's a name that's totally not Japanese. Sorry to say it, but her name's almost as ridiculous as Dad's. Gotta respect her for not ending up as screwed up as he is. When I think about it, all the names in my family sound foreign. Just what is grandfather so obsessed with that? Because of him, even we grandchildren have to put up with this weird naming sense. It's even more annoying since grandfather's own name is perfectly normal. Anyway, there's one thing about Aunt Rosa that's a relief compared to the other family members. The old bastard and Aunt Ava have this annoying urge to tease and mock people all the time. But even though she shares their blood, Aunt Rosa isn't like that at all. She has the most common sense among all the siblings. Like Uncle Hideyoshi, she's a kind aunt who will always be on the kid's side. However, possibly because she's more strict as a parent, she's not liberal with handing out spending money like Uncle Hideyoshi. Not giving the kids money. Okay, now we have the entire group of family members who are going to board the plane. At that moment, as though it had waited for us to arrive, an announcement rang out through the lobby. Our apologies for the delay. Boarding will now commence for Flight 201 to Niijima. We ask that the passengers please form 2 lines in front of the counter, behind the white line. Rosa, you still haven't gone through boarding procedures, right? Hurry up. Oh no. Man. I mean, I tend to fly through very small airports, so boarding procedures for me are actually pretty quick and easy. However, and this is also probably a small airport, but the idea of like quickly going through boarding procedures is still weird. It was the 80s, definitely a different time. Yeah, this was a very different time. I'm so happy I go through small airports. It's been so painless for me, but I know that if I ever went through a big airport, it would suck. Oh no. Like, I've had times where I've been on like a long layover, like 3-4 hours at like Washington, D.C., and I'm like, you know, by the time I get out of here, find anywhere I'd want to go around D.C., come back with enough time to go through all of that again? Nah, I'm just gonna wait here. So, LAX sucks. I believe it, yep. I hadn't flown much until my family moved away. Now it's still just, I go from a small airport up here that tends to transfer at a larger airport to go to another smaller airport. But even then, like, I end up with a layover at the larger airport, not having to go through, you know, boarding procedures or anything. Oh no, Maria, come on! Ooh. We had to go through a metal detector before going out on the runway. Our small plane wasn't as massive as an international flight, but it was still a plane. A staff member holding a metal detector checked us all. Once all of us cleared the check, we followed the staff member out into the runway. Come to think of it, everyone here is in the Ushiryoma family. Ushiromiya, wow. It's like this is a reserved charter flight or something. Our group stopped in front of the entrance to the airplane. Then our guide turned around and spoke, looking down at the passenger list as he did. I've also never... I would never ramen. I wish I could say why I do that, but it clearly is something I do. I've never had to just walk out to the airplane. I've had to disembark out from the airplane, just down the stairs, but I've always had, you know, a direct path to the airplane to board. But I've also clearly never been on a super small plane like this. So, boarding will now commence. As I call out the names on the passenger list, please take your seat in order, starting from the front row on the right side and going right to left, then onto the next row. I'll now begin reading the passenger list. Yep, I would never. Never. Ushiromiya. I'm literally looking at it. Literally looking at it. Ushiromiya Hideyoshi-sama. Literally looking at it. Oh, I'm first. Right here. By the way, do you have some candy? Do you have some candy, Ava? I'm looking all over for someone. I can't find any.
後ろ宮エヴァ様
Ushiromiya Eva-sama.
ハンドバッ
Do I
グ
have my
メーカーよ
handbag?
機内に入ったら出すわ
See? Interesting. I'll get one once we're inside the plane. I've heard that candies are a good way to protect your ears from hurting because of variations in atmospheric pressure when landing or taking off. Or you could just know how to open your own tubes and, you know, usually if you like jut your jaw forward, you can like open the tubes that go down, because that's what it is when your ears hurt. I forget what they're called. I forget the exact term. Biology in high school was a long time ago, but there's tubes that functionally go from your ears to your throat, and the imbalance of the atmospheric pressure when they're not open is what causes that pain. Chewing gum, or chewing anything really, can help open those up. But you can also just, again, if you just jut your jaw forward, you can usually hear them open. So, it's done tons of stuff. One of my favorite Atelier characters, Nifty. So I've been lucky enough that that was something I learned at a weird, I think my high school teacher taught me that while we were learning about that part of biology. And it's helped now that I fly occasionally. It's like I don't have to worry about my ears popping. Cool, awesome. But I know my nephew brings gum. You know, smart call. That's probably what they're talking about.
俺の席
Oh, we got a window seat. Always.
窓際だと
Window
いい
seats
な
are always the best.
大
Don't
丈夫
worry.
だよ窓際席
There
し
aren't
か
any
ない
other
の
kinds of seats. Oh. As George Aniki said, there were apparently only two lines of seats. So this is what a small plane is like. We are totally sure it's not going to shake, right? Says the guy totally unbothered by shaking. Ushiromiya George-sama.
はい
Right here.
大丈夫だよ
Don't worry, Battler-kun.
あんまり揺れ
It
ない
won't
から
shake too much.
後ろ宮バトラ様
Ushiromiya Battler-sama.
兄貴
Aniki? What do you mean,
あんまり
not too much?
船から落ちて
You
も
can
泳
just
げれば
swim
いい
if you
や
fall from a boat, but
飛行
if
機
a
が
plane
落ちたら
crashes,
それ
you're
でお
screwed,
しまいだ
right?
もちろん客席にはパ
We
ラ
all
シュ
get
ー
our
トがあ
own
るんだ
parachutes on our seats, don't we?
ねえ
Wait,
の
we don't?
後ろ宮ルドルフ様
Ushiromiya Rudolph-sama.
ほらバトラ
Come on, Battler. Stop standing there slack-jawed and get in.
とっとと奥行き
言ってよ
Ow,
親父
Dad.
大さ
Don't push me.
パラシュートがね
You
えん
don't
だ
get
よ
parachutes.
後ろ宮桐江様
Ushiromiya Kyrie. Kyrie? Sama?
ほら仲良く
Okay,
じゃれ
dude,
て
stop
ない
fooling
の
around.
進む進
Let's
む
move on in. Don't worry. I'm going to figure out pronunciations next week. Mark my words. Let's see if I'm going after Umineko. Oh, was there a bot? Damn. Really? Umineko? The bots, all the bots in the past week have all used different websites. So that's annoying. Kyrie,
押すなって
don't push me.
ボンクラが進
This
まねえんだ
blockhead isn't moving.
後ろ宮マリア様
Ushiromiya Maria-sama. Ooh.
進む進む
You finished with the game yet? Yep. Only like 1/200th of the way there. Let's move on in.
後ろ宮ローザ様
Ushiromiya Rosa-sama.
こらマリア
Maria,
静かに
be
しなさい
quiet. Every seat's a window seat. See, what gets me is the high headroom. Because, man, on the one small plane I had to be on, the headroom was not high enough, and neither was the arm room. It was my absolute first flight, and it was in the middle of winter, so I had my big poofy jacket, which is warm as hell, but, you know, big. So, and I didn't think I should take that off before I sit down, like I do now, because logic, because I was, like, nervous. It was my first flight, you know. Figured I'd screwed something up. Thankfully, I had a guy sitting next to me that was very, very polite. It's like, no, it's okay, I understand. But, like, the thing I remember most is just the really small headroom. Like, I really had to duck for that plane. It was not ideal. This is your pilot, Kawabata. We'd like to thank you for taking New Tokyo Aviation's Flight 201 today. We estimate that the flight to Niijima Airport will take about 20 minutes. We are receiving reports of atmospheric turbulence. There may be some shaking of the aircraft, so we ask that you do not unfasten your seatbelts after takeoff. Aniki, did that guy just say we needed to wear seatbelts? Yeah, like most... Yes? In a jumbo jet, they let you undo them after takeoff, right? In a bigger plane, they let you undo them after takeoff once you've really stabilized at a cruising altitude if they don't expect any turbulence. So it's going to shake so much we can't take them off? Damn it, you tricked me! Is it going to shake? It is going to shake after all. Where are the parachutes? I knew I should have taken the boat! You know, you'll be fine. Legend of the Golden Witch. No, that's an airplane. There we go. Oh, I guess we just get opening credits. Cool. Good time for a drink. No, that's also an airplane. Though I've never been on a plane with propeller engines. I imagine that's slightly different, but you know. So I guess he had a window seat looking out over the engine, no less. Been a seaplane a couple times. Interesting, okay. I mean, again, short of going to see my family now, I don't really fly, so... Yeah, I don't imagine it would. I don't know, jet engines are pretty loud. But the plane is fairly sound insulated anyway, so should have taken the boat. Fall! Fall! Ooh, 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 ooh. Maria, that's an elf. A different noise, that I believe, yeah. But what a surprise. I thought there was nothing that could scare Battler-kun. This guy can't handle vehicles for some reason. Always yells about falling and sinking and stuff. You're a disgrace of a man, you are. Wow. Shut up. That thing was seriously shaking way too much. Just got a little stressed since it was my first time on a small plane like that. You call that a little stressed? Oh, yeah, let's hear. Thank you, text-to-speech. Wonderful. Sounds like it'd be fun to take an overseas vacation with you, Battler-kun. Would you like to go to Egypt with your aunt? You get to ride a plane for a full 14 hours. I mean, it doesn't sound like his problem is flying. It sounds like his problem is small planes being tossed around by winds. I feel like an international flight would be fine for him. That's a good plan. Battler-kun, you should go let even Ne-san toughen you up some. Still, it's so hilarious. Now, everyone's got their own strong and weak points. It's bad to laugh at them. Nah. Dad, you're laughing too. Hey, Maria-chan, you shouldn't laugh anymore. Shouldn't laugh anymore. Ooh. Damn it. Is being scared of planes really such a big deal? Everyone obviously thinks I'm a big oaf now. Yep, that's a car. Nope, those are boats. We split up and took separate taxis from the airport to the harbor. From there on, we would be taking a boat to the island. The islands are right next to each other, so the distance of the trip wasn't that great. By boat, it was a leisurely 30 minutes to the island. When we reached the pier where the boat to the island was anchored, we saw a figure waving at us. Having now flown, but not having been on a boat, or like in open water, I think I'd be way more nervous on a boat. But I also just like I don't have a like specific like fear of deep water or anything. Like I wouldn't say that like that's the case. I feel like deep ocean is more just like to me that's just more the fear of the unknown than fear of the ocean. It's big, it's dark, you can't tell if something's coming at you till it's at you, and there's a lot of things that it could be coming at you. Like, I wouldn't say I have a fear of spiders, but I still don't trust larger spiders because I don't know if they're going to bite me and be poisonous. I still wouldn't say I'm arachnophobic, but I don't want a spider on me. I wouldn't say I have thalassophobia, but I don't want to be in the open ocean. I just don't. Just don't. Also, like, I can swim, but I wouldn't say I'm the strongest swimmer. Yeah, like, that too. Like, I don't know how I deal with, like, seasickness or anything, but I just mean, like, I don't trust the open ocean. It's just not, it's not where I am comfortable. It's not where I want to be at any given moment. Yeah, see, I'm not like that for spiders, which is good, because we have a lot of spiders in this house. I have played Subnautica. I really like the game. It doesn't, I mean, there's definitely, like, the first time you see the Leviathan, it's definitely creepy as hell. But I still wouldn't say that that game, like, triggers any fear in me. I think it's just, if I were there, like, I'm not afraid of it as a video game concept, but I would lose my mind. Like, I'm still very much of the impression that, like, I think if I was just in the ocean and, like, a whale, like, let's say I was on a boat and it went down. I was in the ocean, whatever, you know, alive, but, you know, with a life raft or something. And, like, a whale pulls up next to me, I still don't know if my brain, seeing, like, a blue whale pull up next to me as a living creature could wrap itself around that. Like, I know what a blue whale is. I've been to the Museum of Natural History. They have one hanging up, a model of one. But, like, I'm not an idiot. I am aware. But I really think that if I were to look over to my side and see a living creature that big within an arm's reach of me, I think my brain would just shut off for 5 minutes. I think it would have to hard reboot. I don't know why I think this way. I've never been in that position, and I hope to never be, but I just get that vibe that, like, I think knowing that something is that big and exists in the wild and having it near you are wildly different things. Also, clearly, if you couldn't tell, even though I've lived on the coast my entire life, I'm a land person. I'm a landlubber. 1,000,000,000%. George Nissan! It's been so frickin' long! Jessica-chan. It's been a year since I saw you. You've gotten taller again, haven't you? Don't give me that. It's embarrassing when you say it every year. Also voiced by Atelier Protect. That's totally shocking, Ramen. I couldn't possibly have predicted that. Hey, Aniki, you gotta be kidding me. Is that really Jessica? Wait a sec. George. It's this big guy. Battler? We both stared at each other. She definitely didn't look like that in my memories, but I do remember her crazy way of talking. She also has a cross motif. I feel like crosses and the family crest symbol are very common. And the entire family likes red a lot. Yo, Jessica! What's this now? You're kidding me. You look like a woman now. What are these? Boobs? Even you managed to get a chest. Well, see, like, I can swim, like, pool swim. Like, I love going to pools. And even, like, shallow water. Like, well, I've gone to the beach tons of times in my life. But that doesn't mean I want to go further than where my, like, feet can touch the ground. Outside of a pool. A pool is fine. But, like, real water? Nah, if my feet can't touch the ground, Nah, it's okay. That's alright. It's fine. I can swim, but I wouldn't be particularly confident of, like, swimming, like, long distance in a day. So, you know. They know the power of ruby red dye. Damn right they do. Let me rub them. Let me. Don't screw around with me. I'm a blushing flower of 18. Of course my hair grew longer and I got these. What, you think I got boobs just to get fondled by you, loser? True, I also don't have to worry about being food in a pool. And speaking of you, sure, you got all ridiculously huge. But did you get a bit stronger too? Don't screw with me. I'll show you how much training I've done since back then. You're pissing me off. I'll beat you at your own game. The headstrong girl's name is... She was born under the same unlucky star as me, sharing the same kind of weird name. Anyway, it's pronounced Jessica. She's Dad's older brother's daughter. Different place. Okay. Alright. That older brother happens to be the oldest son of the Ushiromia family. So for now, it means Jessica is the direct family heir. She's Armin? What? Okay, I believe it, but what? Since Jessica and I are the same age and sometimes have little boy-girl squabbles with each other, we've always been used to fighting and joking around together, whenever the relatives gather. Jessica grew more quickly, so she always had me beat in terms of size and physical strength. When we scuffled in a contest of strength, it usually went Jessica's way. So even though I realized I'd grown bigger, part of my mind was still convinced that I couldn't beat Jessica. Whoa! What the? What are you getting all serious for? Ow! Hey, this is nothing. Jessica, you've gotten weak. Shut up. I'm a girl. So of course I couldn't beat a guy with physical strength forever, right? Oh, you've got a point there. The meat I put on my arms all went to your chest. Looks like it'd be a pretty even test of strength between my arms and your boobs, don't you think? What? What? I told you, my boobs aren't for you to feel out. Besides, how about you? Did your cute little elephant son get a bit bigger to go with the rest of you? Stop it, idiot! No, you perv! I'll be ruined for marriage! Don't touch my crotch! Don't say stuff people are gonna misinterpret! This is a very normal family. Honestly, I was so surprised at how feminine Jessica had become that I had to joke around like an idiot to hide it. Well, considering what a bossy brat she was 6 years ago, anyone would be surprised. And I guess she's just as surprised. She probably wasn't expecting me to lose me in a test of strength. After losing that easily, she must be shocked at how much I've grown in the past 6 years. 6 years. Once again, I'm being shown just what a huge gap of time that was. Crap, what a defeat. It's like I'm no match for you anymore. It's not true. Even Battle-kun must have his weaknesses. Right, Maria-chan? Ooh. Ball! Ball! Cut it out, Maria. Let's keep that a secret, okay? Ball? What the hell are you talking about? Sorry, but there's no chance you'll see that weakness of mine now. After all, the nightmare plane trip is already over and done with. Only thing left is the nice quiet splashing of the boat ride. Never thought I'd start loving that piece of junk boat this much. Ready for this one? No, probably not. Wait, who is the cousin, Jessica? Weird. Okay, I mean, cool. Huh? George, Nissan, is there something wrong with his head? You'll understand soon. Very soon. At the time, I didn't get what Aniki meant by that big smile. What do we hear? Oh. Battler-san, how big you've grown. Who is it this time? An old lady with an apron. Oh yeah, that takes me back. I remember now.
バトラ君、覚えて
You
るか
remember her, right?
ほら、お手
It's
伝いの熊沢さんだよ。
Kumasawa-san, the servant.
熊沢
I
の
can
ば
never
あちゃん
forget you,
は忘れねえぜ。
Kumasawa. Ba-chan. Kumasawa.
何しろこの6年、ちっとも老けちゃいねえ
After all,
ぜ。
you haven't aged a bit in these past 6
むし
years.
ろ、
If anything,
若
I'd
返
say
っ
you're
たんじゃねえ
looking
の
younger than ever.
最近
Lately,
は
my
お
skin's
肌
been
が
getting
ピ
quite
チ
smooth
ピ
and
チして
silky.
きた。ほら
And look, hasn't my
胸
chest
も
gotten
ます
bigger
ま
as
すに
well?
大きくなっちゃいましたんですよ。揉んでみます。
How do you like a little feel?
ご
You're kidding, right?
俺が揉みたいの
My
は
breast fondling is strictly limited to bouncy
一日限定だぜ。
Ooh.
私とて
Oh, I was quite
若い日
bouncy
に
in
は
my
そ
youth.
れはピチピチしておりましたよ。
Yeah, of course. I mean, aren't all servants basically just saber? Like what everything's just saber. Like why have the other classes? Just saber.
ほらほら。
Don't be shy.
ぜひどう
Fondle
ぞ
to your heart's
お揉みく
content.
ださいませ。
Imagine if he took her up on that in front of all of their family on the middle of the docks. Like
おお、勘弁してくれよ。
God, give me a break.
若い姉ちゃん
Girls
と
I'm
若い
looking
姉ちゃん
for,
熊沢
not
のばあちゃ
grannies.
んじゃねえよ。
The jokes I'd cracked about Jessica were being turned against me. Crazy how that would work. Come to think of it, Kumasawa has always been the type to tease people.
おいおいよせよ
Kumasawa-san,
さん
stop that now.
監獄に半分が
People with one
突っ込
foot
ん
in the
だ人が
coffin shouldn't
はしゃい
jump
じゃいけないぜ
around. Wow.
若い方とじゃ
To
れる
sport
の
with
が
the young is the most
何より
rejuvenating
の若
medicine.
返りの
That laugh, though.
おいおいよせ
Oh,
よ
it starts
熊
from
沢
the
さ
top,
ん
okay.
おいおいよせよ熊沢さ
Oh,
ん
wait.
おいおいよせよ熊沢さんおいおいよせよ熊沢さんおいおいよせよ熊沢おいおいよせよ熊沢おいおいよせよ熊おいおいよせよ
Okay,
熊沢
that's
監獄に
all.
半分が突っ込んだ人がは
若い方とじゃれるのが何
It is very powerful.
熊沢さんが
So where
迎
for
え
you
に
to come
来る
pick
な
us
ん
up,
て珍
Kumasawa-san?
しいじゃないどういう風
I
の
wonder what's gotten
吹き
into you.
回しかし用事を頼まれる
Usually
と
you're
いつも腰痛になるあなたが
Lumbago kicks in whenever somebody gives you a job to do.
エヴァ
Eva-sama,
様は相
you're as
変わ
harsh
ら
as
ず
ever.
手首急な
I
お
found
買い物
myself with
があ
some
りまし
urgent
たもの
purchases
で
to make, and
そ
while I
の
was
つ
at
い
it, I
で
thought I
に
would come
皆
welcome
様
you
のお
all.
迎えをもっとも
Although it does give a bad
お迎え待ち
impression
の
if
老い
the
ぼ
one
れ
waiting
の
to
お
greet you
迎え
is
で
a
は
decrepit old woman. Back pain. Ah, that makes sense. Aunt Eva spoke sarcastically, but Kumasawa Bachan's years of experience were nothing to sneeze at. She was more than capable of smoothly and coolly deflecting that comment. Well, feels bad to say it, but old Kumasawa Bachan may be past her prime as a servant. She might act as though she's in good health, but between the headaches and her lumbago, her body is wearing out. To tell the truth, the very fact that she's still working is impressive. How old is she this year again? She must be pushing 80 at least. It's incredible that she's still able to act so cheerily.
ますますにお元気なようで
You just seem to get more and more lively. Oh, that's right.
そうだ
Here you
こ
are.
れ前に話
It's
し
the
て
tea I
た
told
ジ
you
ェリ
about
スほら
before. Look,
買って
I
きま
brought you
した
some.
後で飲んでみ
Please
て
do
くだ
try
さ
it
い
later on. Aunt Rosa took a souvenir bag out from the suitcase. To think that she remembered a promise that she'd apparently made last year and faithfully brought it. This sort of thoughtfulness was always just like Aunt Rosa. She wasn't the kind of person who would forget or break a promise. Kumasawa Bachan seemed deeply touched, not only that Aunt Rosa had remembered this year-old promise, but that she would bring a gift to a simple servant like her. This woman is Kuwasama Chiyo-san. She's a senior servant who's been working at the Ushiromiya head family household for many years. As you'd expect from someone her age, manual labor isn't her strong point, but she's kind of a super servant who can handle just about anything else, from kitchen work to cleaning and laundry. Seems like her only flaw is a tendency to slack off. I hear she tries to get away from heavy or troublesome work by playing up her chronic diseases. In Kuwasama Ba-chan's case, this was probably a sign of craftiness rather than laziness, though it probably doesn't impress those paying her salary. Ah well, even if she's pretty flaky when it comes to work, I could never dislike her. I guess that's probably because of her cheerfulness and her constant smile. Hey, glad to see you're still in fine spirits. How's your back doing then?
薬を
Even
飲
with
ん
the
でも
medicine, it's not
ち
getting
っと
one
も
whit
良く
better.
なる。こればかりはお医
According
者
to the
様では
doctor, nothing can be
ど
done
う
for
に
this
も
one.
な不治の病
It's
っ
what
ちゅう
you
もんで
might
すわ。
call an incurable disease. Not what I'd normally laugh at, but sure.
それにしても
Anyway, Jessica-chan
ジェ
just
シカ
keeps
ちゃん
getting
は
prettier.
夏日姉さんに
Good
似て
thing
よ
she
かった
takes
ぜ
after Natsuhi-chan. Natsuhi?
そ
Really?
そうで私的には
Personally, I don't
全
think
然
we
似
look
てない
alike
つ
at
もり
all.
つうか
I mean, I don't even
親
want
に
to
は
be
言
like
い
my
たくないで
parents.
す尊敬して
Because
な
I
い
got
んだ
zero respect for them.
こら
Now, you
そんな
shouldn't
こと
say
言っちゃ
such
ダメよ
things.
そ
Though
れに
there
して
are
も
quite a few people who
親に
don't
似た
want to
く
be
ないっ
like
て
their
言って
parents
る
in
人
our
が多い
family.
わね
Can't
うちの
imagine
一
why.
族は
あ、それ俺
Ah, that's me!
バカ言え
Sure as hell better
お
not
前
take
こそ
after me.
俺にお前の鼻が
Your
似てて
nose looking like
ムカ
mine
つく
already
んだよ
pisses me off.
何言ってん
What
の
are you
よ
talking about?
呆れるく
You're
らいそっくり
surprisingly
よ
alike, you and father.
あなたもお父様も
おいおい
Come on,
そりゃ
you
ねえ
can't
だ
be
ろ
serious.
俺のどこが親父に似てるってんだ
Just how am I like dad?
傲
You're a
慢
lot like
で
him,
偉そう
especially in
な
how
ところと
arrogant
か
and
そっ
prideful
くり
you
よ
are.
あんたと兄さんは
Father's
特
blood
に
is
お
especially
父
strong
様の
in
血
you
が
and
強い
Nissan.
わね。ねえローザ
Wouldn't you say, Rosa?
え
Oh, absolutely.
クラウス兄さんもルドルフ兄さんも
Kraus, Nissan, and Rudolph Nissan are almost unbelievably like dad.
おいおい
Alright, already. Why am I the only one under fire from the girls?
秀吉兄さん
Hideyoshi
助けて
Nissan,
ください
give me a
よ
hand, please.
いやいや
My Rudolph, you're always so popular with the ladies.
羨ましいで
I'm jealous. Every time.
相変わら
As
ず
usual,
モ
you're
テモ
popular
テ
enough
で
to make me
羨まし
jealous.
それでは
Hold
皆
on,
様
everyone, shall
お
we
船
head over
の
to the
方へ
boat?
さあさあ
Come now,
マリアさ
Marina-san.
ん
Let's get on the
一緒
boat
にお
together,
船に乗り
okay?
ましょうね
Get on the boat together. Ooh. Everyone gets on together. Ooh.
おや
Hell yeah, this time
もう
around,
今
I'm
度は
not gonna be
詳しく
scared.
波で揺れる
I'm
のは
used to
慣れ
being
てるし
shaken by
な
the waves.
あのオン
With
ボロ
that
漁船
piece
の
of
場合
junk fishing boat, I'm less afraid of the shaking than the engine
エ
breaking
ンジン
down
が
and the
ぶっ
boat
壊れて
drifting off.
漂流するんじゃねえか
そうだ
Oh yes, Battler King,
バトラ君
forgot to tell you.
あの漁船
That
は
fishing boat
だ
was
いぶ
completely
老朽
worn
化
out,
して
so it
た
was
んで
taken out
数
of
年
commission
前
a
に
few
引
years
退したん
back.
だ今は他の
Now we
船
get
が
taken to the
島まで
island in a
運んでく
different
れるん
boat.
だ
ああそっか
Oh, right.
バトラは
It's
新しい
Battler's first time in the
初
new
めての
boat.
快適だぜ
It's super comfy.
すっげえ速いん
Freaking
だ
fast.
何しろ
They
と
can
ん
go
でもない
crazy
スピ
high
ードが出るんだ
speeds.
ほ
Oh.
うってことは
That means less travel time,
船
right?
だそりゃ
That
素晴
sounds
らしい
great.
何しろ
Having to worry about
飛行機
sinking
より
is less scary than being on a plane.
沈没の
It'd
危険
still
に
be
さらされ
awesome
る
to
時間
get it
が
over
少
with
しでも
as
短く
quickly
な
as
るってん
possible.
だからこりゃ
Ooh. Is Battler going to go fall again?
そりゃ飛
It's only
行
on
機
airplanes.
もう
Everything's
大丈
fine
夫だ
now.
ぜ
何しろ
Anyway,
船長自慢
It's
の
the
改
captain's
造
pride
高
and
速
joy.
艇ら
Kind
しい
of
ぜ
modded high-speed boat.
だいぶいじってるらしく
Seems he's got it pretty souped up.
プロペラは高性能
He
の
was
が
bragging
4機
about
も
how
つ
he
いてて
attached four
最
base
高速度
high
は40ノットを
four
超える
base
とかな
high
んとか自慢し
efficiency
てたな
propellers to make it break 40 knots or something like that.
いつも自慢
Yes,
さ
I
れ
know
るの
nautical
覚えちまったぜ
Means boat fast. He talks about it all the time, so I've sort of memorized the spiel.
僕も毎年
Yeah, gotta
聞か
memorize
される
too,
んで
since we
覚
hear
えちゃ
about
っ
it
た
every
よ
year.
船長は昔
Captain says he's been
外国の
obsessed with
漁船
modding
と
ever
速
since
度
he
比べ
lost
を
a
して
speed
負けて以
contest with
来
a foreign
ス
boat
ピード
ages
改造
ago.
その時の相手は漁船なのに30ノ
According
ッ
to
ト以
him,
上
that
も出
opponent
せたん
managed to
だっ
break
て
30
ね
knots with just a fishing boat.
その雪辱の念が結
And
実
his
して
thirst for a revenge match got him to build an awesome, all-new, super high-speed modded boat.
バトラもきっと気に
I'm
入
sure
る
you'll
ぜ
just love it, Battler. Super high-speed modded boat. My first thought was that this would be much better than some beat-up boat that might sink at any moment. But for some reason I got this feeling of foreboding. Probably just overthinking it. Probably. Not to think about it too hard. Oh, okay. Useful. I wonder if it's shaking.
おいバト
Hey,
ラー
Battler, maybe you should just swim
島
to
ま
the
では
island.
泳いで行った方がいいんじゃ
バトラ君
Battler君 you
柵か
shouldn't
ら
lean
あんま
over
り
the
身を乗
railing
り
too
出しちゃダ
much.
メだよ落ちちゃうから
You might fall. Ooh. Ooh. Fall! Fall!
チェックしろ
Damn it! So this is why you were all grinning back there.
みんながニヤニヤ笑ってたのはこれだったのか
So this is the super high-speed boat the captain started modding. Oh yes, that piece of junk fishing boat from 6 years ago doesn't hold a candle to this guy.
うわー
Whoa! It's shaking! It's shaking! It's shaking!
落ちる
Gonna fall, fall, fall! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gonna fall, fall, fall! If I fall, I'll land in the ocean and drown. Where's the parachute? I mean, where's the buoy? Give me a life jacket! Okay, you should have enough life jackets for everyone. That's pretty important, actually. You should have covered some amount of safety. Somebody should know where the... You know, fine. Butler, what the heck are you doing that for? Jessica-chan, Maria-chan, it's not nice to tease. Butler-kun, if you're scared, then just don't come out on the deck. I think you'll be able to calm down a bit if you go inside the boat. That's a no thank you, Aniki. Shipwreck victims are always the ones inside the boat. The survivors are usually those on deck during the accident. So I'm standing right here. But it's shaking! I'm gonna fall! Shake, gonna fall! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Maria, I told you to behave yourself, but Butler-kun, looks like you really can't handle it. I'll go tell the captain to slow down for you. Oh, Rosa, thank you! I can tell you now that safe slow driving is definitely the way to go, even on the sea. Don't do that, Rosa. Trials and tribulations are important for young men. Isn't that right, Butler-kun? You better be able to overcome a little scare like this. Otherwise, you'll never be able to go to Egypt with your aunt. Whoa, Aunt Ava, you're so mean! Oh no, I'm gonna fall! Life jacket! Parachute! You really held that one. Wait, I gotta spin around and think that way. What's the enemy aiming for? Was the Egypt joke? That would be funny. Is he doing this to scare me? That's what he's aiming for. Too bad. Like hell I'll be scared. But no, I'm gonna fall. He'll be fine. So after I made a huge fool of myself for a while, Aunt Rosa had a talk with the boat captain and he slowed down to a more manageable speed for me. That's a bit better. Thought I was gonna die earlier. Apparently the max speed I can tolerate is extremely slow. That just now was completely insane. The whole boat was shaking, sliding and leaping on the ocean's surface. I felt like I was riding on the back of a flying fish. Jessica was still guffawing at me as I leaned against the railing, tired and disheartened. I lost in that strength contest earlier, but I'm glad to know I'm no worse off where it really counts. But seriously. Damn it, go ahead and laugh. One of these days I'm gonna find your weakness and get back at you. Then your boobs will be mine to squish. Ah, yeah, sure, good luck with that. Ooh. This is a very cousin-fondling family, isn't it? Well, threats of it. Battler, all week. Yeah, Battler, all week. I want to die on land, not in the ocean or the sky. You're rich, yeah, you're right. Basically, yeah, you know. Maria was patting my back, so I patted her head in return. Her expression was blank as usual, but I realized that she wanted to console me. Butler-kun, the captain's throwing in drinks to make up for this. Would you like one? To calm yourself down? George, Aniki, and Kurosawa Bachan bought us all ice-cold cans of soft drinks, covered with beads of water. Judging from Kumasawa's son's big grin, Our parents inside the boat were probably all rolling around laughing at my moment of pure terror. Damn it, I'm so embarrassed. Can't bear to face any of them. If I didn't change the subject somehow, I had the feeling I'd be the butt of everyone's jokes for the whole trip, so I tried to think of something harmless to talk about.
Ah,
Hey,
Jessica.
Jessica,
クラウスおじさんと
how are Uncle
夏代おば
Kraus
さんも元
and
気なのか
Aunt
よ。
Natsuhi doing?
親父とお
Well,
ふ
man
く
and
ろ
mom.
残念ながら
Unfortunately,
元気だ
they're
ぜ
fine.
二言目に
Though
は
every other
勉
word
強しろ
out
勉強
of
しろ
their
って
mouths
う
is
るさ
study,
いけど
study,
な
which pisses me off.
秀吉おじ
I'm
さ
so
んとかル
jealous
ドル
since it
フおじ
doesn't
さ
look
ん
like
とか
Uncle Hideyoshi
そういう
or
こと言わな
Uncle
そうだから
Rudolph would
羨ましい
say
ぜ
stuff like that.
とんでもない
no.
僕も受験
Before
を
I had my
控え
exams,
てた
my
頃は
parents kept pressing
い
me
つ
about
も
it
受
over and
験時
over.
うるさくも思った
Thought
け
it
ど
was annoying
今は
then,
感謝
but
してるよ
now I'm grateful.
やっぱりジョージ兄貴は
I knew it.
人
You
間
really
ができて
are
る
awesome,
な。ちなみにうちは
Anyway, I have to look after myself.
何にも
No
言わ
one
れない
tells
ぜ。
me what to do.
まあ、
Well, it's
言
not
われ
like
た
I'd
って
listen
聞
if
かね
they
えけど
did.
な。
Battler-san, have you still not returned to your
バ
parents'
トルさん
home?
は
うん。ま
Well,
あ、
I
ちょくちょ
kinda
く
go back
戻るよ
now
う
and
に
then.
は。まだ服とか、
Got lots of
だいぶ
clothes
前
and
の家
stuff
に
left at the
残して
house
る
I
ん
was
で。
living in until recently.
お
Ooh.
バトラ
Battler has two houses?
うーん。
Hmm.
まあな。
Something like that.
どうして
Why?
どうしてお家が二つ
Why do you have two houses?
お
Ooh.
お
Ooh. Only Maria, who couldn't really grasp the situation, voiced this naive question. However, the others just shot nervous glances at me, choosing not to respond even though they knew the answers. Maria!
ほら
Look, you can
船
see the
着き場が
harbor
見えて
now.
きたぜほらあれ
Look over there.
見えるか
Can you see it? Ooh!
船着き場見え
Saw the harbor! Saw the harbor! Jessica was trying to be nice by changing the subject. Ah well. I'd rather not talk about it if I can help it, but it's uncomfortable to have it treated like some kind of weird taboo. I don't mind it that much myself anymore. I may be a member of the Romiya family, but the truth is that for these last 6 years I've been living with my grandparents and my late mother's side, and I've even been using her family name. When those grandparents passed away, one after the other, I basically had no choice but to go back and live with the old bastard. Don't get me wrong, I didn't just run away from home or anything like that. The only one at fault here is my dad. I don't really blame Kirie-san. Being able to hold that old bastard's reins and ride him out is no mean feat. So just not phrasing? Not even a little? Still, the way the old bastard betrayed my mom, well, unfortunately, I still haven't fully gotten over that.
もうすぐ着くね
We'll be getting there soon. George Aniki cleared his throat, trying to change the subject.
失礼しま
Please
した
forgive my indiscretion.
年寄りが余
Seems
計
this
な
old
こと
woman
を
has
言っ
said
て
too
しまっ
much
た
already.
ようでお気に
If
障
I
り
have
ま
hurt
し
your
たら
feelings,
気にもしてないし、触って
I
も
don't
ない
mind
ぜ
it, and no one's feelings are hurt.
気にすんなよ。
Don't worry,
マサのばあちゃん。
Kumasawa-ban-chan. Kumasawa-san seemed to regret speaking out of turn, but I was more concerned about being worried over for something like that, so I stood up and passed it off lightly. After that, I had a sip of my drink and headed over to Maria and Jessica, who were gazing at the silhouette of the island. Ooh. Battler, I saw the island! I saw the island! There! Ooh, ooh, ooh.
どれどれ
Where is it? Oh, I see it now.
6年ぶりでも
Even after 6 years,
記
the
憶
island
と寸
hasn't
分
changed
変わ
a
ら
bit.
ない島影だ
Islands
ぜ
don't tend to. I mean, unless people do something to them. Like on a longer time scale, sure. The small island silhouette in front of us had gotten pretty close. This island's name is Rokenijima? Rokenijima? No. Rokenjima. Sorry. Yeah. Realized my mistake as I was going. It's a small island about 10 kilometers around, located in the Izu archipelago. Since they call this archipelago the Izu 7, lots of people think that there are only 7 islands, but that's not true. There's actually several more, and Rokenjima is one of the minor islands that don't get counted. Even if that weren't the case, I doubt you'd find many people who knew about this island. Only people connected to the Romiya family ever go there. In other words, outsiders and tourists would never have any reason to care about it. So, you'll never find this island's name in a travel brochure. After all of Rokinjima is an estate possessed by the Ushiromiya head family. Only the Ushiromiya family lives there, and only people connected to the Ushiromiya family come and go to and from there. There's nothing there except a harbor and a mansion. The vast majority of the island is still just uncultivated forest. Such a waste when it could be made into a nice golf course or something. Like, I know they're rich, but like that one line also just spelled it out. Imagine an island with natural splendor when they could make it a golf course. However, when you realize that the entire coastline is a private beach, it starts to sound pretty magnificent. Probably guessed by now, but to put it simply, well, the Ushiromiya family is just rolling in dough. Look, nobody has a family get-together like this where everyone flies to the same privately owned island while wearing variations of their family crest all over their bodies and charters private flights there. Yes, it wasn't subtle, but like, yeah. Dad family apparently possesses a vast fortune, and Dad and the others who make up the branch families have built up plenty of wealth for themselves, finding success in their respective businesses. I've been living a commoner's life in my grandparents' home these 6 years, so I'd completely forgotten. But the old bastard's house really is elegant, and everything about it is tuned to match the snobbish taste of the annoyingly rich. Come to think of it, I guess that makes George, Aniki, Jessica, Maria, and me wealthy, high-class gentlemen and ladies. Sure. See if you caught up with the Alliance raid quest before Tuesday. That's a good call. That said, I could always just kind of skip through it if I didn't, but that's still a good call. I should also probably check and see what my eye level is, though I have to hope I'll be okay. I did a few versions of the raid and got a chunk of gear from it, so I have to assume I'm probably good, but I'll check. Actually, I should still be good because it's only a trial this time around, not a dungeon, right? So it shouldn't be a huge eye level increase. So I think I'll probably be okay, but I'll still check. That's smart. Needless to say, none of us think of ourselves that way at all. Yeah, no, the wealthy don't tend to think of themselves as the wealthy. They tend to just think of themselves as normal and everyone else subnormal. You know, worse, lower, scum. I don't see myself as being rich, and George Aniki, who takes self-discipline very seriously, doesn't let himself get too comfortable. Jessica is always complaining that she'd rather move to the city than be rich, and Maria's still a kid who isn't even interested in money at all. Does that attitude really make us any less snobbish? No. From the perspective of people in poverty who can't pay the bills, we really have been blessed with a lot. This isn't the place to explain it any further, so I won't. Anyway, it's the same as not being able to choose the parents you're born from. I didn't ask to be born into a rich family, and I don't think it's really something to be envied. I'm sure it's not. Sure, no one else could possibly... If you don't think it's envied, you know, you could always just give away your money if you don't want it. So a lot of people could help. It can be pretty tiring when people are prejudiced against you just because you're rich and refuse to judge you by your merits. The rich have merits? As I pondered these sentimental thoughts, Maria started shouting and leaned over the railing. Look, I'm pushing 40, and I have to acknowledge the fact that I will never own a home of my own. Ever. In my life. That will never happen. To say that there might be a mild animosity towards the overly wealthy would be an understatement. That said, ooh.
No.
Go on. What's wrong, Maria? Did you drop something? Ooh. Yeah. Standard rent in my city right now is the lowest I could ever find was about $1,500 a month for rent. Not to own a place. To own a place is insane. But rent in my city is minimum. We're talking bare ass minimum. You're living in a closet. You're living in a one room. $1,500. The East Coast is pricey. I imagine the West Coast ain't cheap either. I have no personal experience with it, but I imagine California is also not cheaper. Yeah. cheap as hell. We're moving. Hell yeah. Awesome. Like, if I ever had to, I could move away from here. It's not like I'm super, like, I'm tied to this location because of the people here. I have no love or hate for my physical location. Like, my city's fine. There's nothing that super stands out as I love about it that I couldn't get elsewhere, but also I don't hate it. Like, actually considering buying a place. Jeez, congrats. Like, that's really awesome. I hope you do and can, and it kicks ass. One place in Mexico is half what it is. I believe that. I easily believe that. Excuse me. Because even staying on the East Coast, moving down to where my family did, excuse me, things were so much cheaper. So much cheaper. Hell, I go down there and they have 99-cent gallons of milk. We don't have that up here. Not at all. Just, it's not a thing. It does not exist. Yeah, and I'm not in a big city, but I am technically in a suburb of New York. Even if it's technically 45 minutes away by train, it is still a suburb of New York. That's just how it is. That's how it goes. If I were in parts of Connecticut more north, maybe more east to a degree, but north and northeast, not along the coast, prices also go down. But yeah. That's just how it be. Gone, gone! Ooh, 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 ooh. If I had a family member that did that every time they talked, I would not be able to stay around them for long. Just couldn't. Just couldn't. Yeah, the coast definitely adds to it, don't get me wrong, but it's also the train line directly to New York City, the Metro North. The coast doesn't take away from the cost, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's just that. I think it's a combination of the two. Which is why the stuff even closer to the city, if you go closer to the city from where I am, you hit like Darien and Greenwich, which are, ooh, those are money cities. Those are old money, white racist cities. Those were the people who, when I worked at a grocery store, I worked in Darien, which, again, very wealthy, very wealthy. And at the start of the pandemic, when I was still working, before I was like, nah, not doing this, there were people coming in and bragging about how they just got off their flights from Italy. And it's like, come on. Ugh. That was at the point where the store didn't have enough hand sanitizer for us and didn't let us wear masks. There's a reason I stopped working there. Like, it's a different universe, yeah. Why would they ever stop their flights to Italy? Like, so what if some pores got sick? Who cares? They've got the money, they won't die. I stand by saying the majority of the customers there were not bad. Just the ones that were stood out a lot. And even then, I would take the customers any day over the management. The customers would never have made me quit that job. The management did. Management treated us like shit. No respect whatsoever. But like, that was not exclusive to that job. That is retail. Anyone I've talked to who's worked in retail has identical stories to anything I tell. So, like, don't get me wrong. I have certain customer interactions like that one and the one I've told about the guy who insisted that he can't touch receipt paper because receipt paper is infused with estrogen. There were memorable bad customers, but they were still 1 in 200. They weren't the thing that was going to ruin my day. Oh, he insisted. Normally I was in the deli, but every now and again it was really slow and they'd put me on the register because I knew how to do the register. And, you know, a guy not only refused to take the receipt, but thought he was doing me a favor by letting me know that the receipt paper is all infused with estrogen to make men more feminine and weak. He truly thought he was doing me a favor and truly believed this. He would not touch the receipt. Didn't want it to touch his groceries, didn't want it around him. And even that, like, look, I can smile looking back at that. I was awkward at the time, but like, I would take that. I could deal with that. You just smile and nod to customers and everything goes fine. But when management is giving you crap hours and you tell them you can't stay past a certain time, you change your availability, and every day they're like, "You sure you can't stay? We really need you to stay. We've already given you the worst time frame. Also, yeah, we're going to give you your schedule for the upcoming week Saturday night for the week starting Sunday. No, we won't give it to you earlier. No, you can't ask for it. Deal like stuff like that. It's just really, that's the killer stuff. Yeah, but that's what happens. Like, I was living in, not living in, I was working in one of the wealthiest towns in the United States. Legitimately, Darien and Greenwich are, I don't know what the exact listing is, but they are definitely top 10 in the United States, probably higher than that. I haven't looked in a while. But they are wealthy. Crazy stupid wealthy. Crazy money. They don't have to touch receipts if they don't want to. Yeah, the reasoning is stupid, but if they're just like, I don't want to touch a receipt ever in the rest of my life, they don't have to. They're too wealthy. It's like, yeah, it's... Thankfully, those interactions were few and far between, but some people. Maria kept yelling, "Gone, gone!" At first it sounded as though she had dropped something, but while she shouted, she also pointed out over the ocean. What's wrong? What's gone? I'll look for it too if you want. But I agree. Yeah, like, anybody who truly believes that, like, I don't know. There's some conspiracy theories that, while I disagree with them, I'm like, I could see how people could believe in that. I don't, but, like, I can understand that. Like, why would... But it's, you know, it's people who are all up in arms about all those trans and, you know, need that excuse of something is causing it. It can't just be a natural part of humanity and sexuality. It must be caused by the jet contrails turning the frogs gay and the receipt paper turning men transes. You know. Yeah. People don't... I mean, it is normal to fear what you don't understand. But the solution to that is just getting to know people. I don't understand what it is to be trans from a personal experience, because I'm not, but I have enough trans friends that, like, yeah, this is just something that makes people happy and hurts no one. They weren't comfortable in the body they were born with, so they changed that. Okay. Why does that hurt anyone outside of that person? At all? Like... It's just... Oh, yeah. Oh, look. Sexism and racism goes deep in some of these areas. Like, you know. I'm not going to say... Now, don't get me wrong. I have known people who are from the younger generation from these towns that do not have that same way of thinking. I'm not saying everyone who lives in those cities inherently thinks this way. I am saying it's prevalent. Saying it's very prevalent and noticeably so. It is... I got more respect in the deli than my coworkers because all of the night crew except for me weren't white. Mostly Hispanic, some black, Jamaican, predominantly Jamaican. The customers would treat me better than it's for the same job. I did not cut deli meats or cheeses any better than anyone else in that deli, I assure you. But that's just what it is. And it was noticeable and it was constant. And they would try to joke with me about it. They try to, like, tell me, like, yeah, racist joke. I'd be like, no. I occasionally had coworkers I didn't get along with, but they usually didn't last long. The people that were there with me for a while, they were good people. Unfortunately stuck in the same shitty job I was at the time, but, like, they were good people. They were always kind to me and customers. Like, I never had beef with any coworker who lasted there longer than a few months. There were some people who were really trash to me and they didn't last long. But, like, women are too emotional. Yeah, man, that whole argument has... I mean, it was never correct, but it's only aged worse as time goes on. Like, yeah. Well, like, there was one guy who really treated me shittily, but, like, in a really, like, subtle shitty way. Like, always left, vanished when there was work to be done at the end of the night. Oh, like, never actively talked down to me or anything, but always, you know, I always had to do extra work when he was around. Until he got caught stealing multiple cartloads of things from the entire store. Didn't last long. And there was another guy who just was kind of rude to everyone. At the end of the day, it's a customer service job. You can't be rude to everyone. You will be fired. Like, you will be. The first guy was there before I started, so he was already part of the union, and they can't really fire you from the union without good cause. They can't just up and go, eh. But when you're stealing multiple cartloads a week, yeah, they're gonna find you. They're gonna get you. When you think you're untouchable, that's when they get you. Wants it so bad that she had to be asked to quit. Jeez. Yeah. See, the thing is, I wouldn't have a choice. He could close, I could close. That's all they needed to hear. As soon as you can close at a retail place, you close every night. You close every night because no one else wants to do it. Same way as like working weekends. You're going to work every weekend night because no one else wants to do that. But, like, I was getting to the point where like I was almost going to say something anyway, but got caught stealing massive amounts. Oh, absolutely. That's how I knew it was going to happen to Potts, because Potts did the same thing I did, which is like, yeah, no, like, I'm here, I want to work, sure, whatever. So they're exclusively going to put you in the times and the days that no one else wants to, unless you say something. I eventually cut it so that, like, I had to leave at 9. I told him because the buses. It was half right. The buses stopped at 9 Saturday. But, you know. Eventually, once you're there long enough, you can just change your availability. But it took me a few years to realize that, because I was, you know, young and naive. We have gone on such a tangent, but why not let it go for another minute or two? I'd like to try to do a good job at the jobs I do. I am a lazy person in my personal life, but when I'm working, I do usually try to do a good job at it. Man, that grocery store beat that out of me. Sure did. Whew. Definitely cemented the reward for hard work is more work. More than anyone else gets. Yeah, nah. Thankfully, I'm at a very different job now. This is all in the past. I can look back on it and be like, damn, that sucked. But, I mean, I'm glad I have a job that treats me with respect now. So, yeah. It does mean I have to wake up earlier, but that's only been better for stream stuff, even if it's been mediocre for me. Like, I'm used to it. Doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm used to it, though. Loyalty should be a two-way street in the job circles. It's not. The problem is the employers have all the power. As long as things like being able to sustainably live your life and health insurance are tied to jobs, the employers have all the power. That's how it is. Unless we unionize. But there's a whole swath of the country of just the populace who unions are like a four-letter word to them, and I don't get that. Unions are a good thing. Undeniably. But yeah. Employees don't be smart. Yeah, correct. But the thing is, most jobs these days, it's cheaper to hire a new person, especially if you can lower the amount of money you're paying them, than it is to keep on somebody who's made a bit more money over time. So most jobs kind of want the turnover. Again, I'm talking general retail stuff. I don't know how this applies to the wider job market, but retail stuff, that's absolutely how it is. They want you to move around. And it's in your better interest. They're not going to give you more money. It's better to go to somewhere else and try to negotiate a better starting salary. Which is stupid. It's all stupid. Well, yes, like all things, they can be corrupt, but what's more likely to be corrupt? The people keeping you down in a shitty job, or the people at least ostensibly trying to help you have human dignity, respect, and decent pay at your jobs? Not to say that the unions can't be corrupt, but which has a little more incentive to be corrupt, which at its core is already a bit more of a messed up power imbalance. I wonder. There's a reason why in my state it is illegal for teachers to unionize. It is illegal. Not unionize, sorry. There is a teachers union, but it's illegal for the union to strike. They cannot do that. it is illegal, they can't do it, so they have no power. It's a union with no power. It occasionally helps provide some supplies to teachers. I'd say teachers in need, but that's redundant. It is illegal. Calico has come home from work and told me stories that shocked me as a retail employee. Like, no matter how bad things got at my job, I had to punch out for work. I had to take my lunch. If I was there for more than so many hours, I had to take that lunch. That was a requirement. They never, ever, ever bent. Ever. Not once. I can say a lot of bad things about that job. When I worked more than, I think it was like 6 hours is the requirement to get a punch out for lunch. But even when it wasn't a lunch, you still got a non-punch out break, and you had to take those. You had to. The amount of days that Calico comes back and it's like, I didn't have time to eat anything. From a leave the house at 8 o'clock, come back at 5 o'clock job. Sorry, leave the house like a little before 8. 7:45, let's say. And to come back and be like, yeah, I got to pee once through the day, and I didn't eat anything. And the amount of times that happens is most days. And that's so... Like, even the grocery store wouldn't do that to us. It sucks. Okay. Jobs suck. Teaching, the way teachers are treated sucks. Teaching doesn't suck. There's downsides to any job, but you know. It's all about shitty bosses, but all the shitty bosses have all the power. You know. We'll now go back to playing Umineko. I promise. Jobs can suck all over the place, no matter what type it is. But you gotta do it. Yeah. And now back to the family who that's how we started this, yes. The family that doesn't have to deal with this. And it's like, no, I'm no different from you. I was just born into this. I don't think it makes me better. No, I did actually that.
Mm-hmm.
If she dropped something, she would probably have looked down at the floor, but Maria was pointing out over the ocean. One would assume by that gesture that she had spotted something, but she kept saying that something wasn't there. Strange. However, since my last memories of this place came from 6 years ago, I was able to spot it before Aniki, who comes here every year. Huh. If I remember correctly, wasn't there a torii or something on top of a small crag around here? Right, it's definitely there. I remember it well, since as we got closer to the island, it's the first thing to greet us, like a landmark. Wow, you're amazing, Bella. Even though it's been 6 years, you remembered. It was here, wasn't it? I remember too. The tutelary god's shrine and that torii-like thing was standing all alone on that crag. Now that you mention it, they are gone, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they were still there last year. Gone. Gone. Ooh. 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 Maybe they were washed away by the waves or something. It was a small crag, so it probably got worn away over time. Well, that's my theory too. It was last summer that it disappeared. But they say an enormous lightning bolt came crashing down one evening and smashed the shrine. The fisherman whispered that having a thunderbolt fall upon our honored tutelary god must be a portent of approaching misfortune. Sorry, total flashback to frickin' MGS3. Kuwabara. Man, I haven't heard that in any video game other than Colonel Volgin in Metal Gear Solid 3. Okay. Sure. Kumasawa-san smiled impishly as if teasing us, rubbing her hands together while intoning a Japanese phrase meant to ward off lightning. Really? That makes it way funnier that Colonel Vulcan said it. As a man infused with lightning. Alright, did not know that. I thought it was just, a character quirk. I mean, it still is, but it's a more poignant character quirk. However, Maria apparently took this seriously. Stared fixedly over the ocean to where the crag housing the shrine god was supposed to be. Yu Yu Hakusho. I have not actually seen Yu Yu Hakusho, but I've encountered a bit of stuff. Kuwabara, yeah. Important misfortune. Ooh, but sad this time.
よせよ熊沢さん
Enough Kumasawa-san.
マリアはそういう
Maria isn't
状
old
態
enough to get
の
that
数
kind
字
of
の
joke.
年頃なんだからさ
大丈
It's
夫だよ
okay, Maria-chan.
マリ偶然だ
It's
よ
just a coincidence.
何も怖
Nothing
いことな
scary
ん
is gonna
か起きない
happen.
よ
Yes, this game is 200 hours of nothing scary happening. Definitely. George Aniki put a hand on Maria's shoulders to calm her down, but Maria's sharp-eyed expression didn't waver. Misfortune. Misfortune. Maria muttered that word over and over. Apparently, repeating a single word over and over is a habit that Maria has had for a long time. A single word, or, you know, a ooh sound. However, since the word she was saying was literally an ill omen, it's a bit creepy. Hey now, Maria. If you say it over and over like that, misfortune will really end up happening, you know? Tapped Maria's other shoulder. Maria whipped her head around, stared into my face, and spoke unblinkingly. You mean she oohed unblinkingly? Misfortune is coming. Huh? And just where is it coming from? I answered lightheartedly, trying to break the tension in the air. That moment, Maria held up a finger, raised her arm high, and pointed up to the heavens. When I looked up, I saw the sky was still just as cloudy, but had grown a great deal more leaden than it had been this morning. That's right, they were saying that a typhoon was approaching. We had planned to spend one night on the island, but if this storm doesn't pass quickly, I won't be able to make it to school on Monday. Well, guess it makes for a pretty good excuse to be absent. Ooh. She apparently sensed some kind of misfortune in this cloudy sky. She'd been muttering that non-stop for a while now. Girls at Maria's age tend to be very impressionable. She's just about the age that many girls start to get excited about sixth senses and whether they have any psychic potential and stuff. Ah, yes. Chunibyo. For all we know, she's going to start wearing an eye patch, and, you know, it's all downhill from there. Very broad range of oohs. True, I'll give her that much. The ooh range is high. For all we know, this might be due to her childish, sensitive nature. She definitely sounds familiar to me, but again, so do most people in this game. It's okay, Maria-chan. The weather might get worse tonight, but tomorrow it'll clear up and become a pretty blue sky. Ooh. Pretty blue sky. Ooh. That's right, by tomorrow it'll be a pretty blue sky. There's no rain that doesn't end, and no clouds that never clear. Ooh. Rain that doesn't end. Clouds that never clear. You're forgetting a key word that ooh. I know the typhoon's coming, but soon it'll go away. It'll be okay, Maria. Ooh. 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 Ooh, ooh, ooh. Maria started yelling, ooh, ooh. It looked as though she was having a tantrum because no one could understand what she was trying to say. What in the world is Maria trying so desperately to warn us about? I don't know. Rain that won't go away, clouds that won't clear. Ooh, 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 ooh. Maybe. I don't know. Can you say ooh? And how do you feel about ooh? Unable to understand her, we couldn't help but feel a vague sense of misfortune. Further, everyone can feel the supernatural, but that just weakens as you age. That might mean that Maria, the youngest one of us, still possessed some kind of sense that the rest of us had lost. Wonder if it's that sense is sending her a warning. Devolved into monkey. At that moment, no, she evolved into Groot. At that moment, Kumasama-san quietly opened her mouth. Rumor has it. Long ago, Rokenjima was...
Kumasawa-san,
Kumasawa-san. Let's not talk about that now. Just as Kumasawa-san was about to tell some sort of story, Jessica sharply interrupted her. Jessica's tone was extremely firm. I wanted to push her further, just out of simple curiosity. but judging by the look on Jessica's face, whatever Kumasawa-Bachan was likely to say would probably make Maria even more uneasy. If I did try to press her for the story, the odds were pretty good that it wouldn't be anything bright and cheery.
それは
I
申
do
し訳
apologize
ご
about
ざい
that.
ませんね。ここの風は
The
年
wind
寄りに
here
は
is hard to
答え
bear
ま
for
せ
the
ん。
elderly, so if you
ち
would
ょっ
excuse
と
me for
失
now.
礼させていただきます。
Jaspers have no reason to hang around after they've been told to stop chatting. When Kumasawa-san finally realized that she'd overstepped her bounds, she went back inside the boat. After she left, Uncle Hideyoshi showed up in her place. Since he'd arrived mid-conversation, he completely failed to notice the complicated atmosphere that hung about the scene. So he refreshingly and unwittingly swept that atmosphere aside. So in the end, it was his lack of tact that brightened the mood. Looks like we're almost there. Okay, just a bit more. Took forever at that speed we went today, didn't it? Wonder whose fault that was. Could be anyone. Oh, Uncle Hideyoshi, give me a break already.
もっと言ってやってく
Now,
ださい
come on, don't stop there.
ったく
Seriously,
バ
thanks
ト
to
ラーの
Battler
せい
here,
で
it's
時
taken
間か
forever.
かりすぎだぜ
Ooh. Maria probably thought that everyone was refusing to listen to her. Well, if she used plain speech and not Uinese, maybe she hung her head wearing a fretful expression. As she did, George Aniki crouched down to meet her eyes and spoke to her kindly.
マリアちゃん、
Maria-chan,
何も怖
there's
くな
nothing
い
to be
よ。
afraid of,
だって、
because we're all
僕たちが
together.
一緒だもの。一緒だと、何も怖
There's
くない
nothing
ん
to
だ
be
よ。
afraid of if we're together.
言ってごらん。
Go ahead and say it.
う
Ooh,
一緒だと
oldest VA.
何も怖
Crazy.
くない
There's nothing to be afraid of if we're together.
うん。
Jeez. Yes.
一緒だと、
There's nothing to be afraid of
何も
if we're
怖
with
く
each
ない。
other. Ooh.
そうさ
That's right. Exactly
ジ
what
ョージ
George
の兄
Aniki
貴の
said.
言うと俺たちが一緒
If
に
we
いる
stick
と
together, there'll never be
いつだ
anything
っ
at
て
all
な
to
ん
be
だって
afraid
ぜ
of.
なジェシ
Right,
カ
Jessica?
な
Yeah,
間
no
違
doubt
い
about
ないぜ
that.
ジョージ兄さん
What
の言う
George
ことはい
Nissan
つも
says
本
is
当だよ
always true,
マリ
Maria.
ア
Ooh.
ジョージ
George
お兄ちゃんは
Nissan's always
いつも
true.
本当
I mean, probably so. Boba Fett and Empire Strikes Back. Like, I tend to forget that, like, movies I grew up with have been dubbed in other languages. The same way, you know, their movies have been dubbed for us. I tend to not think about that, but it makes total sense.
うん。
Yes.
僕は
It's
嘘を
like
つかないよ
hearing that Kiryu was a dub voice in Thomas the Tank Engine. Makes perfect sense. But it's not a show I think about getting dubbed globally. But it makes perfect sense. Yes, I don't
だ
lie.
から信
So
じて。
trust me,
みんなと一
there's
緒にい
nothing
れ
to be
ば
afraid of if we're
何
all
も怖
together.
くないんだよ。
Ooh,
ジョージお兄ちゃんは
George Oni-chan
嘘をつ
doesn't
かない
lie.
信じる
I trust you.
みんなと一緒
I
にいれ
trust.
ば
Ooh.
怖くない
There's nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. Ooh,
怖くない
not afraid. Maria jumped into George Aniki's arms and hugged him tightly. After Aniki patted her head, she jumped away again. Her facial expression had undergone a 180-degree change, turning back to normal. She was once again the ordinary Maria. Ooh,
みんなと
there's
一緒
nothing to be
だ
afraid
か
of
ら
anymore because
も
we're
う
together.
怖くない
Ooh,
ああ
Yeah,
そうだ
that's
ぜ
you look all better
もう
now.
マリアは強い
You're
な
strong, and that's awesome.
偉いぜ
Ooh,
マリア
I'm awesome.
なんや、どうしたんや
I know. What's going on here?
マリアちゃん、
Maria-chan didn't
船
get
酔いだ
seasick,
った
did she?
ん
Well,
まあ
something like
そ
that.
もうじき着きま
We'll
す
be
ね
arriving soon. The harbor was already drawing near. Oh? Oh, is this the mid-episode eye catch? Oh, we have a clock now. Okay. Is that AM? Well, I guess that makes sense. Depending on when they gathered for the flight. They definitely showed what time it was originally, and I wasn't paying attention. Hey, we got a trophy! We got an achievement. The boat gave a big shudder. Seems we docked at the harbor. The boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with the mooring rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. I didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guessed he was a servant of the Romiya head household. I feel like you could probably assume that of anyone in a random tux waiting around for people here. Seems pretty likely that that's like... What else would... Yeah.
お嬢様、お帰りなさいませ。
Welcome home, my lady.
だいぶ遅かったので
You
心
were
配
so
して
late
お
in
りまし
returning that
た。
I began to worry. Ah,
心
thanks for
配あり
coming.
がとう。ウドの大木
This
が
moron
怖か
got
ったって
so
よ
scared,
それで
I
序
had
盤
to slow
を置いて
down.
マジでう
It
ぜ
was
え。
seriously annoying. Shut up! Someday, when the shoe's on the other foot, you'll remember this. At this rate, word will spread to the whole family, and I'll be the big conversation piece during the dinner. Even without this, everyone would be talking about me because of that 6-year gap, but now I've given them an even juicier topic. Damn it. Why does the Romiya head family have to live on this isolated island? In the meantime, the boat had finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we could get down. One by one, our parents came up from inside the boat.
皆様、長旅
You
お
must
疲
all
れ
be
様
quite
でし
tired
た。
from your long trip.
奥様、お手をどうぞ。
Madam, please allow me to assist you.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
お久しぶ
It's
り
been a
ね。
while,
ゴーダさ
Godo-san.
んもお元
How are
気
you?
ありがとうございます。
Thank you for your
お
concern.
かげさまで、
It's always my
毎
pleasure to
日
serve.
元気にお勤めをさせ。
バトラ君はゴーダさ
Madeline-kun,
んとは初
isn't
対
this your
面じゃ
first
ない
time meeting Goda-san?
確か6年
If
前
I'm
は
not
お勤めじゃ
mistaken,
な
you
かった
weren't
ですよ
working
ね
here 6 years ago, right?
はい。
Indeed.
ですので、
So please allow me to
バトラ
greet
様
him
と
for
は
the
初め
first
てこ
time.
う、はじめまして
It。is an honor to meet you,
Battler-sama.
Battler-sama.
あ
Pretty confident about my height.
あ俺も
You're
タッパには多
huge.
少の自信が紛れもなく
This is
初対
definitely
面
our
だぜ
first meeting.
こんな大
I'd never forget meeting a big guy like
絶対
you.
忘れないさどうも
It's a
はじめまして
pleasure.
バトラッス
I am Battler.
お待ち申し
I
上
was
げて
looking
おり
forward to
ました
meeting。you.
一昨年か
I
ら
am Goda,
後ろ宮本家に
your
お仕
servant,
え
and
さ
I
せ
have
て
been
いただ
working
いてお
for
りま
the
す。
Ushi
使用人のゴー
Romiya
ダと申します。
head family since the year before last. Bird named Bird. Mm-hmm.
どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
何かご用命
If
が
there's
ご
anything
ざ
you
いま
need,
したら、い
please feel free to
つでも
rely on me
お
at
申し
any
付けく
time.
ださい。
ゴーダさん
Goda-san,
お
it's
久し
been
ぶり
some
です
time.
ジョージ様、ご無沙汰をいたしております。
If it's been too long,
お
George-sama,
手をどうぞ。
please allow me to assist you.
あんた、
As usual,
相変
you're
わ
pro
ら
at
ず
welcoming
はい
guests.
もし職に
If you
困
ever
った
need a
ら、
job, just let me know,
い
okay?
つでも雇っ
I'd
た
hire
ろ。
you anytime.
これは身に余る
You
光
do
栄
me
です
too much honor.
どうぞお手を。
Please allow me to assist
秀
you,
吉様。
Hideyoshi-sama. Goda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. His speech and mannerisms had their refined polish of a professional. He was very graceful, in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. His large size made him seem a bit scary at first, but he was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on the island for 2 years, but he doubtless worked at a similar job somewhere before. After everybody disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. It was probably returning to its home port in Niijima. The captain waved his hand in farewell. Maria conscientiously waved her hand back.
うーん
Now that I think about it, that
な
must
ん
be
だ
why
か
I
さっ
felt
きから
something
違
out
和
of
感
place
があ
for
る
a
と思
while
った
now.
ら海猫の声
I
を聞
can't
いて
hear
な
the
いさ
cries of the seagulls.
海猫
Seagulls?
鳥のか
The birds? If I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively nya, nya cries. Is that the onomatopoeia for seagulls in Japanese? Is the marker for an update there? Oh, okay. Sea cats. Oh, I mean, you know, fair. I didn't notice the chime, but now I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Oh, we get to see the full portraits too. That's cool. Not that I doubted they were there, but we haven't seen them. It does show that he is tall. Though it makes him look shorter. I guess it's just the way the portraits go. You know. Cool. While we're here, let's save. With the mouse, there we go. Because of that, whenever I hear the cries of seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Ushi-Romiya head family live. Rokinjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds. They'll come in at some point later. I assume there's probably nothing they have there that we haven't seen here, but at some point, maybe even at the start of each stream, like I'll refamiliarize myself with something, but I kind of figure mid-chapter 1 we're fine. I have no doubt that I'll need that later, but I think we're okay now. Supposedly there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely. What's wrong, Battler-kun?
Ah,
Oh,
Rosa-san.
Aunt Rosa.
Yeah,
Nah, it's nothing really. I was just thinking it's a bit lonely without the cries of the seagulls. Why, that's true, now that you mention it. Even though they're always so noisy, today there isn't one to be seen. Ooh? Why no seagulls? Maybe it's because the seagulls are having a get-together somewhere too. Maria, did you want to see the seagulls? Wanted to see them. Still, it's a bit strange there isn't even a single one around. Maybe Jessica grilled them all and ate them. Ooh. The hell? Don't say disturbing stuff like that. Look at Maria believing it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Jessica and A-chan grilled him. Jessica and A-chan grilled him. Ooh. I did not. I did not. Why the hell would I do something like that? That's right. That's right. Jessica grilled him. Skin and meatballs, liver and onion. Swim in meat doll. Liver and onion you got. You know, halfway there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. As I made fun of Jessica, Maria tagged along, looking like she was having fun. Oh, never guessed she was such a good sport. Alright, then from today on, I'll make you my #1 follower. As I smiled at her, she beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection we'd made with each other. It's not it, Maria-chan. I've heard wild birds are attuned to changes in the weather and atmospheric pressure. The weather will probably get worse tonight. These seagulls must have returned to their nest early. Ooh. Not grilled. Jessica One-chan didn't grill them? No, no! I wouldn't do something like that. Battler, you admit right now that you lied. Battler-kun. Maria-chan's is a naive girl, so she takes even jokes seriously. You should choose your jokes more carefully. George Aniki gently scolded me. Even though I outstripped Aniki in height, Aniki was Aniki, of course. There was no choice but to obediently apologize. Sure. My bad. My bad. Maria, that was a joke. The seagulls are all taking it easy in their nest today, that's all. Battler lied. George Oni-chan told the truth. Had she actually been tricked, despite all that fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. Yeah, that's right. That's right. What George Aniki said is true. The weather's bad, so they probably went home for the day. Doesn't mean they're gone. Right, Aunt Rosa? That's right. Tomorrow, when the weather gets better, I'm sure they'll come back so we can hear them cry meow, meow, like they always do. Ooh. I'll wait until the weather gets better and they come back. Gonna wait until tomorrow. Gonna wait until the weather's better. Ooh. Ooh. Maria was in a lighter mood and was looking forward to tomorrow, when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. Still, George Aniki really was amazing at taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki, that's probably your gift.
ジョージ君は
George
小さい子
Kun is
の面倒を
amazing
見
at
るの
taking
が
care
う
of
まい
young
わね。
kids.
保育士さんでも
If you wanted
務められ
to,
るんじゃない？
I'll bet you do a great job in childcare, don't you think?
なあ、
Yeah, it's almost like George Misan was born to do something like that.
私的には
Personally,
社
I
長
think
室
that
で
it'd
ビ
suit
ジ
you
ネス
better
っ
than
てよ
doing
り
business in
そ
some
っちの方
company
が兄さん
president's
のイメージだ
office.
ぜ。
まさか。
Yeah, nothing could possibly go wrong. I mean, the most could go wrong thing they're talking about now is imagine a man working in childcare. It's such a shame because, like, I have fond memories of both male and female teachers throughout my school years, but like now, I feel like you get looked at really close if you are a man who wants to work with kids, which is a, normal thing. But now people are like, and they definitely have it harder from, higher ups. Kids don't care. And like, don't get me wrong, teachers abusing children is horrific, whether the teacher is male or female. But tons of news articles have proven it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, it still happens sometimes. Which sucks, again, it absolutely does. But nobody really cares unless it's the guy doing it. They still get looked at weird. People just assume bad things. It's like, especially in the world we live in where there's an absurd shortage of people passionate about teaching children because it's been beaten out of them by the system of not respecting teachers, you'd think you'd take what you can get. But, just another sign of like different times. Also don't know if that's the same US and Japan. Probably different. Oh no. Childcare is a fine career path, but it's not a job where merely liking children is enough. You really are modest, George Kun. But Battler Kun is quite good with children too. Just a second ago, even though it didn't last long, Maria seemed to be having a lot of fun. Please, keep on playing with her like you did just now. Oh, schooling definitely has its own set of problems, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. Just choose your jokes more carefully, okay? Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. She's a real mother, I thought to myself, who's happy to see Maria having fun.
Oi, Rosa!
Yeah, bullies in the States are bad, but I feel you, yeah. Come on, Rosa. And you brats too. What the hell are you doing? Let's get going. Okay, we're coming. The old bastard was waving for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in our rooms.
それでは皆様、お泊まりのゲストハウスの方へご案内させていただきます。
Oh yeah, I have those games. Now then, everyone, allow me to lead you to the guest house, where you will be spending the night.
どうぞこちらへ。
Please, this way. Kura-san called to everyone and led the way. Kumasawa-san brought up the rear. More in the backlog, yeah, A serpentine, twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I guess the path was made all twisty, so the slope wouldn't seem too steep. But personally, I'd have been happier if they'd had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made the path twist on purpose to put on airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. From here on, I do have some memories. Go up these and... My student's desk of some anime? I don't think I have? At least it doesn't ring a bell. Like, maybe I have, but it just didn't. At the top of the stone steps, we saw a beautiful guest house. Jeez, that's messed up. Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose garden spreading before it. A giant mansion with a plentiful rose garden. Are there going to be twins? Ah, will they have flaxen hair? As beautiful as ever this year. A real delight for the eyes. After climbing the stone steps, the people greeted by this rose garden gave voice to their impressions one by one. Is it just me, or are the flowers a little less lively this year? It's probably because it wasn't that hot this summer. I also believe that was a factor. Sadly, this year's blooming is a tad inferior when compared to last year's. Continues to get wet. Yeah. Yeah, that can't help. Even so, it was a delightful rose garden. I remembered that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rokinjima. Even our parents, who came every year, couldn't help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed to have undergone a power-up from the garden in my memories of 6 years ago. Yeah, reinforcing bullying is clearly not ideal. Yeah, like, I get that, like, it's your teenage years are a good time to, you know, try stuff out, learn about yourself, learn boundaries, test things, try things. Maybe not at the expense of, you know, other people. You know. This place is always so amazing. It would be wonderful to have a rose garden like this at home. Give it up. Who do you think would take care of it? Roses are a real pain, with bugs and diseases to worry about. Can't you all pay someone to do that? Aren't you stupid, filthy, stinking rich? Can't you just hire a gardener? A groundskeeper? Well, from what I've heard, Kirie-ne-san takes care of her roses every day and makes sure no bugs get anywhere near it, right? Huh? What are you talking about? That's right. Though, in this person's case, the rose goes after the insects like some nasty carnivorous plant. So that's what you mean. Come on, Rosa, can't you give that a rest just for today? I've put that sort of thing completely behind me. I wonder. After all, you're a womanizer on an almost genetic level. No need to worry, Rosa-san. When a rose gives you too much trouble, it's always best to snip it at the root. Such frightening talk this is. Guys who are popular with the ladies are always forced to live dangerously. I sure hope I turn out a bit prettier in my next life. Hideyoshi-Nissan, like I keep saying, it isn't like that at all. And Kirie, stop it. You're freaking me out. You made my rose wilt. Hey, Miria-chan, look over here. These roses are especially magnificent. Magnificent roses. Ooh. Smells pretty sweet. Look, this suits my elegance perfectly. Hey, cut it out. Maria's gonna imitate you and get hurt by the thorns. She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around I saw Maria imitating my every gesture and George Aniki smiling broadly at us. Hey now, Miria-chan, be careful. Rose thorns can hurt. Ooh. George Oni-chan, only this rose is strange. Ooh. Strange? What's wrong? Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all these magnificent roses, one single rose was just starting to wilt. There wasn't any particular reason. Some roses flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it, but Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. Must have made her feel lonely. So you feel sad for this rose because it's the only one that isn't healthy? Ooh. The others are all healthy, but this one's sad. Well, they all bloom and wither at their own paces. I'll bet this one's just starting to wilt early because it got to bloom before any of the others. Yeah, that's right. It probably just bloomed like crazy, fulfilled its duty, and went to sleep. You shouldn't get so worked up about it. It seemed that Maria's pure, sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her.
じゃあマリアち
Then
ゃん
Maria-chan,
帰るまで
why
の
don't you look
間
after this rose
こ
until
の
we
バ
leave?
ラをお世話してあげ
Ooh. George Aniki straightened up and felt around in his pocket. He then took out the wrapper from the candy he'd been sucking on the plane. He twisted it into a thin string, then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of marker.
へえ
Hey, that's
なん
pretty
だ
cute.
か可愛くなったね。
これが
Let's
この
mark
バラ
it
の
with
目
this.
印後で
Later
お
on, you
水
can
とか
come
をあ
and
げ
give
に
it
来
some
てご
water.
らんバラさんも
I'm
きっ
sure
と喜
Mr.
ぶ
Rose
と
will be
思うよ
happy. I'm sure it's not about to get a lot of water anytime soon. Definitely not. Ooh,
お水とかあげ
come to give it water.
せっかくだ
I
から
think you should give Mr. Rose
こ
your
のバラさん
name.
に何かそうすると
Typhoon
バラ
never.
さんも喜ぶ
Sure,
と
that'll make it
思う
happy,
し
and you get to know it a little
マリア
better.
ちゃんと
Name?
名前
Ooh. Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Aniki.
ジョージ兄さんっ
George
て
Nissan has always
昔
been
か
really
らホイ
understanding.
尊敬するぜ。
Can't help but respect him.
だな。
Yeah,
人徳ってや
I
つだ。
guess he was just born that way.
後で爪の赤をもらってきてや
I'm
るか
gonna
ら
start picking up
一緒に
tips.
飲もうぜ。
Was this garden just as magnificent when you were all kids?
私が出
It's
てっ
only
て
after
か
I
ら
stopped
よ
living here that it
こ
grew
ん
so
なに立
big.
派になっ前の庭園の
Before
方
that,
が
the
素
garden
朴
was
で愛
simpler.
着があ
Though
ったん
I'm
だけ
still
ど
attached to
ね
that one.
兄さんがちょっと悪趣
Nissan
味にい
fiddled
じり
with
す
it
ぎ
too
たの
much,
よ
with that vaguely bad taste of him.
前の方が
Of
ず
his.
っと良か
I
った
liked
ん
it
だ
much
か
better
ら
before.
エヴァ
Eva, you gotta think
ポジティブ
positive.
シンキング昔は置いと
Setting
いて
aside how it used to look, its beauty now is something to be admired.
その方が
You'll be able to relax a lot better if you look at it that way.
別にそんな
Didn't mean it
意
like
味じゃ
that.
ただ私は
I was just saying that I
昔の方
wanted
が
you
素
to see
敵だっ
this
た
garden in the way it
点
was
をあな
before,
たにも
too.
見てほしかったなって
それでは皆様
Everyone, if
よ
you
ろしい
please.
でしょうか。
I shall guide you to your rooms now. Goda-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready. But our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year, so we didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home, full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Roses, yeah, Understanding the situation, Goda-san continued to wait, smiling widely until our parents got tired of the roses and told him to guide us to our rooms.
Well?
Oh?
おーい
Hey,
カノン
if
く
it
ん
isn't
やないか
Kanon-kun.
久しぶりやな
It's been so
元
long.
気か
How you doing? Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted. In the direction he was waving was a slender boy. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goda probably emphasized his small stature. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled-up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took his hat off, and bowed his head.
こんにちは。
Good afternoon. I figured he was probably younger than me. So, they knew which actor to get. Yeah, clearly. Oh, okay. Interesting. I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time. It was a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goda-san noticed that our interest had shifted towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us.
バトラ様、
Battle-sama,
ご紹介いたしま
allow
す
me to introduce you.
後ろ宮本家
This is
にお
one of the
仕えして
servants
おりま
of
す
the
使用人の一人です。
Ushiro-miya's head household.
カノンさん、
Kanon-san,
お客様にご挨
greet
拶
our
を。
guest.
はじめまして。
Pleased to meet you.
使用人の
I'm the servant,
カノンです。
Kanon. Yep, first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking. Compared to Goda-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goda-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanon only cast his eyes downwards.
カノンさん、
Kanon-san,
もう少し
You
何か
perhaps
挨
give
拶
them a
する
little
こ
more
と
of
は
a
できませんか？
いえ、
no,
僕たちは
because we
家具ですから。
are furniture. He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in greeting. Well, Kanan-kun's shy and doesn't tend to talk much. He might not be that sociable, but deep down, he's really a good person. Don't get him wrong. You've been working here for 3 years, haven't you? Perfectly sure you started a year before Goda-san, right? Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression, Jessica hurriedly backed him up. JP Testament. Interesting. They also knew who they were getting. They knew which actor to get, yeah. I see. Apparently his unsociable nature causes him trouble a lot. Okay then, nice to meet you. I'm Battler. I'm 18. How old are you? He fell silent, as though wondering whether or not it was a question he'd have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead. If I remember correctly, Kanan's 2 years younger than us, so 16, right? Yes, that is correct. It looked like he would have preferred not to tell us his age if given the choice. That was probably because he thought we'd look down at him for it. I remember that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I see, 16, huh? It's got to be a delicate time, which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have. I'm glad you're about our age. Just be cool. Call me Battler. I'll call you Kanan. Thank you very much. But the sentiment alone is sufficient, Battler-san. Jessica looked panicky for some reason. She seemed to think my impression of Kanan was getting worse because of his refusal. Excuse me. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. As his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. Kanan-san, could you perhaps be a little more courteous? Fretful male heart, yes. A smiling face is also part of a servant's duty. My apologies. I shall make an effort.
Goda-san,
Kanan-kun is trying his best, yes? Looks like he was often warned about being unsociable. And apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Goda-san kept his business smile, but let a small sigh of resignation escape. Well then, I still have work to do. If you'll excuse me. Looked like Kanan himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. After another perfunctory bow, he turned around and started pushing the wheelbarrow again. Just then, the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell, scattering the load. I guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel got caught on a pebble and lost his balance. He knows it well. Oh, we covered it's Luca. I mean, maybe there's another character I know him better as, but Luca, definitely. The one I would know best. What do you think you're doing? Now, clean it up quickly. Goda-san urged him to hurry in a quiet voice, as though hinting that it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of guests. Kanan-kun's wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with the fallen objects, as if to say that he understood quite well without being told. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around and lifting up some sacks of fertilizer. Are you okay? You're so careless. Here. Lady, you will dirty your garments. Please leave this to us. With a smooth motion, Goda-san took the shovel that Jessica had picked up. Behind him, Kanan-kun was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Ooh. You dirty your garments? Don't worry, the ones I'm wearing aren't that expensive. Besides, I hate guys who just sit there and make the waitress pick up the fork they dropped at a restaurant. I lifted up the other bags that had fallen. Of course, they weren't light, but for me it was a piece of cake. Kanan-kun looked at me surprised. It was the face of someone who never would have expected to receive help from a guest.
バトラ様
Battler-sama,
結構です
don't worry about it.
僕
I'll
が
take care
全
of
てやり
everything,
ますの
so
で
気にすんな。
don't you worry.
こう見えても
I
鍛
may
え
not look
方
it,
が
but
違
I've got
う
it
ぜ。
where it counts.
へへ
Since Kenan-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt, he was stuck with a sort of weak body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him.
結構重い
It's
ね
quite heavy.
カノン君が苦労するの
Natural that it
も
would be
無理はない
difficult for you.
カノン君
Don't
気
worry
に
about
し
it,
ないで
Kenan-kun.
これぞ。
Okay,
俺
my
の
time to
見せ技
shine.
これで、さっきの船の分はチャラだよな。
This makes up for the boat stuff from before, right?
この程度
As if
の
this
こと
could
じゃ
make up for
さっき
freaking
の
out like that.
カノン君にも
Later,
後で
I'll
教
tell
え
you
てや
about
る
it too, Kenan-kun.
バトラったら
Battler was
面白
totally
いんだぜ
hilarious.
落ちる
Gonna fall, gonna fall. Ooh, ooh, ooh. As I did this, I piled all the stuff back into the wheelbarrow.
お見苦しいところをお
Beg
見せ
your
して
forgiveness for letting you witness
申
such
し訳ございませんでし
unsightliness.
た
さあさあもう結
Come
構
now,
です
it's
よ
quite enough.
行ってください
Please go. Letting the guest who were supposed to feel welcome see such a disgraceful thing must have been hideously embarrassing for a servant. Pressed by Goda to hurry up and go, Kenan-kun left.
ゴーダさんもいじめすぎ
Too
よ
harsh on him, Goda-san.
意地悪言わない
Shouldn't
で
you have helped him
あ
instead
な
of
た
being a
も手
bully?
伝えばよかった
これは至りません
What
で
was wrong with me?
誠に
I
申し
deeply
訳ござい
implore
ま
your
せんでした
forgiveness. I will have to click that after, because if I click off of this, it'll just minimize it. So, see, I've only ever played Danganronpa in English, so I'm sure there's a ton of Danganronpa people, just I wouldn't recognize them. Without even a twitch in a smile, Goda-san apologized elegantly.
カノン君も
Canon-kun has a ton of things he's good at too.
ただ若いんかの
It's just that being young works against him all the time.
もったいない
It's a
わ
crying shame.
気難し
Well,
い年
it's a
頃さ
prickly age.
そっとしといて
Let's just leave him be.
使用人は寡黙なくらいがちょうどいい
After
ぜ
all, closed-mouthed servants are the best kind.
熊
Isn't
沢
that
さん
right, Kumasawa-san?
ルドル
Rudolph-sama,
フ
you
様は
truly
手
are
厳し
harsh.
くございますこと私ほど
There's no
使用
servant
人
as
で
silent
寡
as
黙な
me,
者は
of
おりません
course.
とも
Everyone smiled wryly at that obvious lie. Even she herself didn't believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So she must have said it to lighten the mood. Yeah, that's the kind of character Kumasawa Bachan used to be. The once stiff atmosphere had cleared up at once thanks to her cheerful smile.
そろそろ荷物を置きたいわ
I'd
ね
like to set down our luggage soon.
ゴダさん
Goda-san, what
部屋割り
rooms
は
are we
どうな
all
ってる
going
の
to
かしら
take?
昨年と同
It
じ
shall
に
be
な
the
っており
same
ま
as the
す
previous year.
さ
Allow
あ
me to
ご
guide
案
you.
内どうぞこちらへ
Please, this way. We headed towards a trim, elegantly simple guest house. This was going to be our temporary quarters for the night. Kenan watched over a hedge as the guests all entered the guest house. Then he let his eyes fall on those heavy sacks of fertilizer piled up in the wheelbarrow. In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. Battler, big and strong, had picked up the sacks in front of him. The sacks Kenan couldn't lift himself as if they were feathers. It would be extremely difficult for an outside observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Kenan. But as far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something that he just couldn't let go of. Muttered words escaped his lips. Those words he murmured were so soft that they didn't reach even his own ears.
僕だって
Even I. Kenan hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. I remember the rose garden. I don't remember this guest house at all. Was it built recently? Torian? Visitor's Retreat was written on a gatepost-like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the roses, had a magnificent design carefully done in harmony with the garden.
正解だよ
Correct.
だったのは
It was
つい
built
お
the
とと
year
しさ
before last.
それ以降
Ever
は
since then,
僕
they've
た
had
ち
us
は
sleep
こっちに
over
泊
here.
めさせてもらってるんだよ
This place is more fun than that junky old mansion, you know.
こっちの方が私も自
I
分
wish
の
my
部
room
屋を
was
こ
over
っちに
here.
持ちたいぜ
Ooh. I want a room here too. I want one. I guess you could say my own house was upper class, but to me it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they'd built this kind of awesome guest house for guests who came over only a few times a year.
Eva-sama,
Eva-sama.
Hideyoshi-sama.
Hideyoshi-sama.
こちらのお部屋をお使いくだ
Please
さい
do
ま
make
せ。
use of this room.
ルドルフ様、
Rudolph-sama.
キリエ様は
Kirie-sama,
こちらの
please
お部
take
屋をお
this room
使い
here.
くださいませ。
やっ
I
ぱ
really
り
do
ここ
love
は
how
綺麗
beautiful
で
and
上
elegant
品
this
で
place
いい
is.
わね。洋風
Western style architecture truly is
本当に素
wonderful.
敵だわ。
ほんの
Can
2、
handle
3
Western
日なら
design for a few days, but any longer than that, and
ず
you
っ
need
と
the
い
good
て
old
落ち着く
Japanese
のは
look.
日本人は
Japanese
畳の
people
上
just
が
relax
一番
best on
くつろげ
tatami
るんや
mats. We've been fighting over whether to make our new house Japanese style or Western style. Mom still holds a grudge about Dad having the construction started with a Japanese layout, and they bicker all the time about it. Look, you're wealthy enough, either build two houses, or just straight down the middle. Western on one side, Japanese on the other. You got enough money, who cares? First world problems, am I right? What style should the new house we build be in? I'm really jealous, George Nisan. Your parents get along well, don't they? Mine are so frosty. And again, they're always in sync when it comes to my grades. All the rooms seem to be for two people. I was grateful since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard under the pretext that we were family. And anyway, I figured those two wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around.
何気持ち悪い顔で笑ってんのよ。
What's with that creepy
どう
smile?
せ下世
You're
話な
thinking
こ
about
と考
something
えてるで
dirty,
しょ。
aren't you?
下世話なんて
Something
とんで
dirty?
もな
Of
い
course not.
どうぞ
Please enjoy your
ごゆっくりお過ごしくだ
stay.
さいませ。あ、はい、で。
Ow, 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 ow. That hurts, you old bastard. Once again, Dad pulled my ears from behind.
バカなこと言って
Cut
ん
the
じゃん。
crap.
ほら、胃がキ
Getting
リ
a
キリ
stomach
痛み
ache,
始めて
I'm
て。
not in the mood for this. You're the guest
今
of
回
honor
は
this
お
time
前が
around.
せいぜ
So
い
play
親
as
父
nice
や
as
兄貴
possible,
たち
Dad
に
and
可愛が
Aniki
られ
and the
る
rest.
親父の前で
At
は
the very least, be careful what you say in front of Dad, got it?
あの人、本当にシャレが
Those
通じないから
wisecracks don't go too well with him.
ジェシカちゃん、
Wow, way to admit
我
that
ら
you
が
just
当
have
主
no
様
fun
の
in
ご機
life.
嫌は最近どうなの
Jessica-chan, what's the head's mood been like lately? Same as last year, I guess? Considering they say he's got 3 months left to live, he's as lively, grumpy, and irritable as ever. Meaning this year he's in his usual bad mood. And as usual, the only one who's able to look after him is Genji-san. Seems the master will open his heart to no one else. Lately, us small people have not even been granted an audience with him. He shut himself up in his study again, probably doing nothing but that weird black magic of his. Drinking? What he does for a hobby is his own damn business, but when he starts stinking up the house, it really gets on my nerves. Wish he'd never come out of that study again.
年長の人にそんな言い方をす
You
るもんじ
shouldn't
ゃない
talk
よ
like that about the elderly.
後ろ宮家を復興させてく
We're all
れた
indebted
大
to him
恩人
since
な
he
んだから
rebuilt the Ushi Romiya family. We should be more grateful. I mean, if you knew the way he thought about you guys, you wouldn't be. Doesn't care about any of you. Doesn't want to leave you anything. Doesn't think any of you deserve shit. Well, sorry. After being rebuked by George Aniki, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. Yeah, it only has one thing on his mind, and it ain't y'all. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but of course that meant all its members were a bit strange, and completely out of touch with the world at large. Yup. And at the top of the chain, the family head, our grandfather, seemed especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were jealous of our grandchildren, of us grandchildren, who could just play around and laugh without a care. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword. If he was so strict and uptight about that, why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kids' names? Because of that, even us grandkids have had to suffer. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. I don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. I remember that the room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around, you couldn't even breathe. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph for me. 6 years ago, I
6
was
年
in
前は俺も
elementary
小
school,
学生だっ
but
た
I'm a high
な。
schooler now.
失礼のある
If I
態
act
度なん
up,
か取っ
things
た
could
ら
get serious.
怖い
Ooh,
怖い。
scary.
確かに
It
こわ
does
も
look
てだけ
frightening,
ど
but it's not so
そん
terrifying
な
that
に
you need
硬
to
くなる
tense
ほ
up
ど
like
怖
that.
い決して理不尽なことは言ってないもん
Nothing of what he says is truly unreasonable.
口下手なだ
He
け
may be
でちゃ
clumsy
んと
at
筋は通
talking,
す人だよ
but he's a very logical person.
ジョージ兄さん
But
は
George
昔か
Nissan,
ら成績
you've
優
been the
秀で
family
一族
darling
の
since
鏡
like
じゃねえか
forever
よ
because of your awesome grades, right?
私たちとじゃ
Grandfather
じい
treats
様
us
の待
completely
遇が
different.
全然違うぜ私なんか木刀で引っ叩か
I've
れた
even
ことあ
gotten
るしよ
slapped with a wooden sword.
尻だぜ
On my
尻
ass! My ass!
それも乙
On
女
my
の騙しよ
maidenly, innocent ass! Just...
ジェシカちゃんは
Well,
本
you're
家
the
の
heiress
跡
of
取
the
り
head
娘だも
family,
ん
Jessica-chan.
おじい様も
Grandfather is
特に目を
giving you
かけてくれてる
special
んだよ
attention.
その厳しさは
You've got to
期待
realize
の
that his
気持ちの
strictness
裏返し
reflects
だ
his
と思
high
わなく
hopes
ち
for
ゃ
you.
冗談じゃねえぜ
Oh, come on.
その後取りっ
Seriously,
て
I
や
could
つ
just
はジ
turn
ョー
the
ジ兄さん
succession
に
over to
譲るよ
you, George
私が
Nichi-san.
担ぐにはちょ
It's
ん
a
と
bit
し
of a
ない
heavy
ぜ
burden for me to carry. I think I already said it before, but Jessica's the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins in branch families, so she probably feels a totally different sort of pressure than we do. Ooh. Jessica, Oni-chan, is that heavy? If I help hold it, will it get lighter?
うん
Hmm? Thanks.
大
It's
丈夫
okay, I'm not gonna push
マ
it
リ
on
ア
you,
ちゃんには
Maria.
押し付けねえこの十字架は
I'm gonna bear this cross until my
私が
grave.
墓まで背
In
負って
fact,
く
you,
よ
you even button it on your shirt.
安心しなって
Don't worry. She was grateful for Maria's innocent concerns, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future.
マリアいらっしゃい。
Maria, come here.
お母さんと
You
マ
and
リ
I
ア
will
はこ
be
の
in
部
this
屋
room.
よ。
バトラ君は
Butler-kun,
僕と
I
一
heard
緒
you're
に
gonna
こっ
be
ち
with
の部
me
屋だ
in
って
this room
さ
here.
おー
Oh,
なになに
now there's a surprise.
親たちの部
It's
屋よ
bigger
り
than our
広めじゃないの
parents'
よ
rooms. Dang.
わお
どうせ
Wow
して集まるだろうと思う
Why wouldn't you just put it as wow instead of dang? Look, I'm not a translator, and any crap I give any translations like this are it's just, you know, in good fun. It can't be an easy job, but I don't understand why you wouldn't just put wow there.
おーおーなになに
Just gotta hear it
こりゃ
again.
驚いた親たちの部屋より広めじゃないのよわお
Wow!
どうせいた
I
ずら
figured
し
we
て集ま
cousins
るだ
would
ろうと
all
思
want
っ
to
て
hang
よ
out together.
大きめの部
So I
屋
told
に
them
す
to
るよ
get
う
a
に
bigger
言っと
room
いたん
ready.
だ
Ooh. I like it here more too. I'd rather be here than with Mama. Ooh. Ooh.
そうか
Oh, you like it better here too, Maria?
よし
Okay, this room is George's and mine, but we'll give you special permission to come in.
お母さんには
Better keep it a secret from your mom, okay? Ooh. It's a secret! Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched and tight. After setting down their luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor. It's going to be so much more frustrating now that the marker doesn't work, though. Like, ugh. That was kind of how I did it before. So, that's going to be fine. Hey, what are you brats planning to do?
ここでいとこ
Are
同
your
士
cousins just going to stay here and chat? Seemed they were heading to the mansion to announce their arrival. Normally, they would make us follow them and greet everyone together. But if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that'd be the end of it. He's saying it's okay if we don't come, so what'll we do?
どうせもうすぐお昼や
So he was translating English words or different words to try and capture the same tone. Yeah, for sure. Even if they're using an English phrase there, what that sounds like and tonally means in context, for sure, like that makes total sense. Well, it's going to be lunchtime before long
子
anyway.
供はそこで
Better let the
くつろい
kids
でたら
unwind
え
here.
それに表で
Besides,
遊
if
べる
worse
の
comes to
は
worse, this
下手を
might
す
be
ると
their
今の
last
うち
chance
だ
to
けか
play
もしれん
outdoors.
しの
Ooh. I'll go too.
マリアはここで
Maria,
お留守番し
you
てな
house
さ
sit for Mama, okay?
い。いたずらをしない
Behave
で
yourself and
お
wait
となし
here.
く待ってるのよ。
Since Maria was being told to house sit here, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. George Aniki noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply for all of us cousins. Well then, we'll accept your offer and house it. We've got lots of stories to tell each other after being away for a year. Or 6. That sounds wonderful.
バトラ君
And
なんか
Battler-kun has 6 years worth of stories to tell, doesn't he?
へい
Yeah, yeah.
お子ちゃまな俺はおとな
I'll
しくお
take
留守
care
番
of
し
the
てる
house
ぜ
like a good boy.
熊沢さん、私もこっちに残るからよ。
I was gonna say, we could definitely do an exclamation point ooh, you sound effect and just have every version of her oohs, but I guarantee you that video already exists on YouTube. I guarantee you, without checking, that there is just a YouTube video of all of Maria's oohs. I would put, maybe not large sums of money on it, but I'd put money on that existing. Kumasawa-san, I'm gonna stay here too.
あとは大人
We'll
に
break
任せ
rank
て
and
若
leave the
者は
rest
退
to
散
the
してるぜ。
adults.
それがおよろしいでしょう。
Perhaps that would be best.
奥様にはそのようにお伝えいたします。
それでは皆
And
様
allow me to guide you
お
all
屋
to the
敷の方へ
mansion.
どうぞこち
This
ら
way,
へ
please.
他の
18 minutes long. I knew it existed.
ジョージは成人して
I
るんだから
would never have thought to look for
連れ
that.
てった方が
I
いい
had no
んじゃない
idea, but I assumed it had to exist. I just knew. The other children are one thing, but George is getting to be an adult. Wouldn't it be better if he came with us?
そんなんで
If we make him come, then poor George will be the only one out of place. Interacting with his cousins is also important.
ほら
Okay, see y'all later. The adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Goda-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. I mean, I know you guys wouldn't cue that up yet because it would definitely have spoilers. But let's be honest, videos like that are a reason that I'm very glad that we set a maximum time limit for song request songs. I know you wouldn't until the game was done. But I don't know if, look, it doesn't really bother me in character at the pace the story goes, but I think after about a solid minute of it back to back, I'd go insane. I think I would just go crazy. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George Aniki asked us to excuse him for a second. We rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. He soon finished his business and came back.
どうしたんだよ
What's up, Aniki?
あ
Ah, nothing.
あ、ちょっと
I
聞
just
きたい
wanted
こ
to
と
ask her
があった
something.
だけさ。
Ooh. Tell me too. Tell me too.
うーん。
Hmm.
何
What
か
could
な
George Nisan be asking Kumasawa-san and not me, I
私
wonder?
な
Ah, I don't have
全
a
然
clue.
見当がつかねえ。
いや、
No, it's a
誤解だよ
misunderstanding.
ジェシカちゃんが
Not that I know
何を
what you're
誤解してるのか知ら
misunderstanding.
ないけど。
Aniki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It was almost as though he felt guilty about something. Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's no fun if Jessica gets to know about it and not me.
なあマリ
Hey,
ア
yeah. Looks like we're the only two out of the loop, right?
何の話か
Don't you want to know what they're talking about? Ooh. We want to know too. We want to know too. He knew exactly how many oohs and the inflection. They've known each other for like 2 hours at this point. I fooled around while oohing together with Maria.
いや、
No,
だから
I'm telling you, it's no
大し
big
たことじゃ
deal. Alright, if it's no big deal, then just tell
さ
us.
つけ
Liar!
兄貴にしちゃ嘘が
I'm
下手だ
surprised
ぜ
you tell such a terrible lie, Aniki. Confess!
マリアお前は
Maria,
右
you
脇
tickle
を
his right
つけ
side. I'll tickle his left. Ooh. I've got his right side. Battler's got his left. Ooh.
ちょっと
Wait a second.
二人ともやめ
Wait,
て
you two.
やめ
Stop. Maria and I played around, chasing George Aniki as he tried to escape, rolling on the bed. I realize high schoolers aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still miss this kind of fun. A warm, cozy kind of fun that will persist for the rest of the game.
ジョー
Hiroshi
ジ兄さん
Nisan,
が
what
熊
are
沢
you
さんに
what were you asking
聞いたのね
Kumasawa-san?
まあ、
Well,
ほら
I've got a
あれ
good
はさ
guess.
兄さんも本
It's
家
been
は
a
一
year
年ぶ
since
り
the
だ
last
から
time he
よ
visited the head family.
その間
Who
に辞めた
knows what
使用
servants
人
might
と
have
か
come and
入
gone
った
during
使
the
用
time.
人とか
Either way,
そう
looks
いう
like
の
he'd
がい
like
た
to
ら
go
挨
and say
拶した
hi.
いってそう
Ooh.
挨拶
Say hi. I want to say hi too.
なんだよそれ。
Did
全
he
然
have
や
a
ましくね
fling
え
with
じゃ
a
ねえかよ、
servant?
兄貴。
What the hell? Nobody would have a fling with a servant named Saber. Definitely not twice in one route. What the hell? That's nothing to feel guilty about, Aniki. Oh man. So I won't go into details because I do want Ramen to play Fate at some point. But obviously, the anime for Unlimited Blade Works doesn't have the sex scene the game has. Fine. Okay. But man, the way that they handle that scene is just so weird to me. It just, look, you want to take the sex out? Fine. You could even just be like, oh, they had a romantic moment or something. You could have faded to black. But like, they handled it so differently. They functionally made something have a cost to one of the people that it didn't before, but they still had both characters acting all like shy and covering themselves as if they were going to have sex. They kept that part of the tone, but they kind of changed what was supposed to be just a, hey, this is a way to just exchange mana, to like a legitimate cost for one of the parties, which is not supposed to be. It's literally just, look, it's an excuse to have a sex scene in the game, but it's just an exchange of mana. In the Fate games, that is how somebody can give another person mana when they have magic and have a bond with them. Okay, it's such a weird thing to change it in the way they did in the anime, and it's just one scene, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me, but it's weird. It's weird that they change it that way when there were so many different ways you could do it. And exchange of mana, definitely.
違うな。
I really, after having played all three routes, I feel like there is one scene in the first route that I legitimately think added parts to some of the characters. The second sex scene in the first route, you literally could have just fade to black and be like, they have sex, and you'd gain or lose nothing from it. I think the one in Unlimited Blade Works also is kind of important because it shows, again, it shows a side of a character that you don't normally see, and I think that can be important. And then Heaven's Feel, it would be hard to cut those. Yeah, like, it's one of those ones that playing through Utawara Mono, I didn't notice it until you pointed it out, and I was like, oh, it's so obvious. I could tell you exactly where those scenes are then. Yep, yeah, like 100%. But I didn't notice while playing it. But as soon as I knew, I was like, oh, yeah, that's, Like, there's definitely some times where it's like, that was unnecessary. Not that I'm going to complain about unnecessary boobs all of a sudden. Look, fine. But if they're doing it right, it's never just unnecessary boobs. It actually does add a bit to, like, characterization. Yeah, exactly. And while you can do Fate without it, as long as you're not bothered by, nudity, I would say play Fate with it. If you're hard against it, cool. Most of the modern versions of Fate Stay Night are censored in that way, and cool. You're still going to get 99.99% of the whole experience. Awesome. But if it doesn't bother you, I think it does add a little bit. Some of them. Out of 5, I would say 4 of them add something. One of them, you could just fade to black and be like, they had sex, and it would be fine. Fluff anti. Yeah, that's true. But then you'll have the important one that would be like, well, if I'd skipped all the fluff too, I'd also skip the important one. I'm not buying it. Maria, don't be fooled. Anaki's still hiding something. More torture! I love... I can only describe these sound effects as like old Gundam sound effects. Stop it, seriously. I haven't even watched old Gundam, but I played enough Super Robot Wars that I can call these old Gundam sound effects. Maria-chan, you too, stop already! She's probably busy cleaning or getting lunch ready. Don't worry, she'll drop by to say hi sooner or later. I bet you'd rather have been welcomed in by Shannon instead of that nosy Goda. Oh, what?
Shannon?
Shannon? Shannon.
Shannon.
Yeah, I remember a girl with that name. Is she still a servant? How's she doing? Who knows? By the way, Natsuhi Nissan. Nissan, how's your headache been lately? It seemed pretty serious before. I've been much better lately, she says, looking like she's had a migraine for the past 12 years. Thank you for your concern. Her headache is so powerful that it's making her hair come around the side of her head. Maybe it's acting like a satellite dish and just picking up signals and focusing on her brain, and maybe that's where the headache comes from. Alright, here. A present for you, Natsuhine-san. Thank you very much. I'm always receiving gifts from you, and signals from my satellite hair. Is this black tea? It's herb tea with peppermint and lemon balm. It's a blend from a well-known store, and it's supposed to be good for headaches. Yeah, exactly. I thought it might help you too. Rosa was always a conscientious woman. Probably because she was the youngest of 4 and much younger than the other 3. She's Naruto's mom. Great. Love it. She managed to grow up without gaining the venomous nature of her siblings. Just a Naruto confirmed. Her kind words got Natsuhi to soften her expression for just a moment. But it wasn't enough to melt her stony gaze, hardened as it was by long years of mental stress. Come to think of it, you're always complaining about those headaches. Pull yourself together. Jessica-chan has her exams this year, right? That's going to be a turning point in real life. In her life, sorry. Will she really be able to rely on you as a mother if you're like that? Besides, Natsuhi-ne-chan, you're 3 years younger than me. You should get your act together. You should just not have a headache. Just don't have a headache. Just stop being depressed, you know. I apologize. I've had a tendency for headaches all my life. Skill issue. Man, I'm pretty sure if someone came up to me and was like, oh, man, it sucks. I've had this migraine all day, and I just said skill issue, they would just swift kick to the nads. And I would deserve every bit of that pain. Even under normal circumstances, Ava sometimes failed to choose her words carefully. No, they'd headbutt me just to make sure I felt every bit of the pain that they do. But her comments aimed at Natsuhi contained shards of obvious malice, though she hid it with a smile. Of course, that fact didn't escape Natsuhi. She frantically contained her urge to grimace and pretended to ignore Ava. Our Battler-kun will have his exams this year too. Rudolph-san, shouldn't you be a little concerned as well? For the sake of your own son, you'd better get serious to the point of having headaches like Natsuhi-ne-san. If I say anything, he automatically rebels. So what should I say? Should I say the opposite? That it's okay for him to mess around? It's probably the only way I can get him to listen to me. Old VA? I believe it. Hideyoshi-Nissan. George did really well in his exams, right? Please, you gotta teach me the trick to handling children. Well, probably because I got him to understand why he should study. Study isn't worth anything on its own. That's right, the real point of studying is to practice, research, and stuff on your own, whenever you bump into something you don't know. If you can't do that, you can't be useful to society. I'm not talking about math or writing. You gotta learn how to learn. That's splendid. I wish our Jessica could understand that as well. If she used to be the heiress to the Ushi-Romiya family, then at this rate, don't you really have to force her into becoming the successor? After all, a woman has to find a woman's happiness. Parents shouldn't force such things on their children, don't you think?
予算かエヴァ。
Told your horses, Ava.
子供の育
Each
て方
family has its own way
は
of
家
raising
そ
their
れぞれや。
kids.
押し付けが
We
ましい
shouldn't
の
be
はあかん
pushy.
で。
ごめん
I'm
なさい。
sorry.
夏日姉さんも
Natsuhi
気を
Nesan.
悪く
Don't
しないでね。
Nesan, I got it right. Don't take it the wrong way. Just has a headache is her main sprite. Though the light shining in through the window was quite warm, despite the cloudy weather, there was a dark mood about the room, which was probably causing headaches for more than just Natsuhi. As if to sweep away the mood, Kyrie brightly made a suggestion to all present.
でも
Still, this black tea has a really lovely aroma.
早速いただい
Let's
てみ
drink
ま
it
しょ
right
う
away.
よ。レオポ
In
ルドの
Japan,
紅茶
surely
なん
you
て
couldn't find something like
日本じゃ確か
Leopold's
銀座
black
でしか
tea
買えなか
anywhere
ったは
but
ずよ。
Ginza, right?
キリエ姉さん
So you know
は
a
詳
lot
しいで
about
す
it,
ね。
Kyrie-san.
買ってきた甲斐
I
がありま
guess
し
it
た。
was worth going to the trouble of buying it. Kyrie and Rosa stood up from their seats and made as if to prepare the black tea, but Natsuhi forestalled them.
お二人ともありがとう。
Thank you both.
それは
But
後
we
で
can
いた
try
だ
that
きましょう。
later.
うちの者がす
One
ぐ
of our
お茶
people
を持
will
って
soon
き
be
ます
coming
の
to
で、
bring some tea,
ど
so
うぞお
please
くつろぎ
relax.
ください。
二人とも後に
Leave
し
it
ろ
for
よ。
later, you two.
ウェルカムドリンク
Let's
くらい
enjoy our
ごち
welcome
そうに
drink.
なろうぜ。
Rudolph gave a subtle signal with his eyes for them to sit down again. Kyrie and Rosa understood instantly and obediently returned to their seats. The initial greeting of the guests was complete, so it was time for them to be served some tea. It was embarrassing for the host that the tea was late, especially now that the guests were talking about making tea themselves. Natsuhi bit her lower lip, frustrated by the ineptitude, of the servants who were late bringing the tea. Seeing her face, Ava immediately started to giggle. Of course, Shannon had no way of knowing what was taking place at the parlor. She came pushing a serving cart piled with teacups. For no apparent reason, Natsuhi gave her a pained look, and Shannon couldn't help but flinch without knowing what she had done wrong.
失礼いたします。
Excuse me.
お茶のご用意を
Your
させて
tea
い
is
ただき
ready.
ます。
おう、
Oh,
シャノンちゃん。
Shannon-chan. It's
久
been
し
a
ぶり
while.
やの。ますます
You
べっ
keep
ぴん
getting
さんにな
prettier
りよ
every
った
time I
な
see you.
いえ、
Oh,
どうも。
thanks. Oh, of course, yeah, obviously.
おしゃべりは配膳を済
Save
ま
the
せてから
chatting
に
for
なさ
after
い。
you set the table.
お茶が冷めます。
Oh, is she Ray? I don't know if I've ever watched Ava in Japanese. I think I've always watched it dubbed. Huh. Oh. That's the VA's name. Gotcha. The tea will get cold.
申し訳ございません。
I've got Ava on the brain with, the 14 announcement. But also, even Ava keeps coming back in, round 1. They have an Asuka statue there. And if it was in one of the skill-based machines, I'd try for it, but they put it in one of the regular machines. Also, they've had little, chibi Ava character keychains, and I've gotten 2 of those. So, Elric? Oh. Another one I've only watched dubbed. The dub is just so good. That's one of those dubs, I know freaking what's Ed's VA. I know he's not the best human being when around women. Vic. However, the dub is still so good. Vic Mignogna, I've heard enough tales from people I know, not necessarily just, tales online. While I haven't encountered him, I've heard some tales from some women that I do know as con friends. Enough to be like, yeah, don't support him. But that doesn't mean that dub ain't great. Just because he is a bad person doesn't mean the FMA Brotherhood dub isn't top tier. If only for everyone else. I apologize, madam. Yeah, and I understand if people are like, nope, don't even want to listen to the dub. That's fair. But I would argue that the benefit of all the other dub actors doing such a good job that, still worth it. Honestly, I should watch it in Japanese once just to see it, but, for shows, it's usually I just keep going with whatever I started with. Todd Habercorn in there, though. Todd Habercorn in FMA Brotherhood. That was my first experience with the Todd, and it's great. Love it. Absolutely love it. She apologized like a small frightened animal, bumped against the serving cart, and made a jarring racket as she dropped several teaspoons. Her clumsiness made Natsuhi's expression turn even darker, which made Shannon quail even more. Yeah, like, there's a few shows that I've seen both of, and look, the days of bad dubs are clearly far in the rear view. Not to say they don't happen, but the standard is quality. So I can usually, if I listen to both, I go, yeah, both of those sound great, but I'm used to this, so I'm going to go with that. So, like, I can't do Trigun Japanese. I heard that English, and it's hard for me to do it in Japanese. Same with Baccano. Baccano's different, though, because Baccano should canonically be English. I get that one. But yeah. Come on, Natsuhine-san. There's nothing wrong with her exchanging a few words in greeting. The tea must be plenty cold already, considering how long we've been kept waiting. There's no need to worry. It's not cold yet. Man, yeah, this family really does just have venom in their words. Like, yeah, it varies, and you can have different... There's always going to be some where it's like, wow, y'all didn't even try on this dub or sub. It's like, that can happen. But I feel like general quality of dubs and subs is both really good. Shannon finished setting the table quickly. I'm sorry, madam. Natsuhi's irritation was obvious by now. The ineptitude that delayed the tea, the clumsiness of the servant, everything pointed to the incompetence of Natsuhi's everyday leadership, making her lose face. As the person in charge of the Ushiromiya head family's kitchen, allowing that clumsiness to be exposed today of all days was surely nothing less than total humiliation. Lay off, Natsuhine-san. Don't you think it's a little harsh to bully Shannon-chan when she's trying her best? I'm not bullying anyone. What a nice aroma. May I ask what brand this is? I'm terribly sorry. I'll find out for you later. Kyrie was trying to be nice, hoping to cut through the tense mood. However, Shannon had embarrassed herself instead, darkening Natsuhi's face in the room's mood. By this point, Ava was audibly giggling. What's this? Shannon-chan, don't you even know what you're pouring us? Come now, you mustn't serve something so suspicious to guests. We'll need a silver spoon at the very least before we can drink this. I'm sorry. I'll go get one immediately. Shannon-chan, do you know what silver spoons are used for? Putting them in the mouths of newborns to show that they're of high society? Yeah, look, it's clearly important that she does, but you're not wrong. She's having a blast. They have to be silver. Do you know why? I'm gonna guess for some sort of poison testing, but like, usually when I hear silver spoon, I think the phrase like born with a silver spoon in their mouth. No. A teasing smile rose to Ava's face as she stared at Shannon setting the table. By itself, Ava's expression was sweet in an impish sort of way. However, the words being spun from her lips held the keenness of a razor within them. Shannon tried with all her might to avoid Ava's continuing gaze. Realizing that Shannon was hard-pressed for an answer, Rosa gave some timely help. They say that if silver is touched by poison, it darkens. Guess you've learned something today, Shannon-chan. They were acting as though this tea needed to be tested for poison before it could be drunk. In Natsuhi's eyes, this was an insult both to the tea and to herself for serving it. Rudolph laughed flippantly and patted Ava's shoulders. Look, I know every time I try to point the camera at the monitor over here, it doesn't pick up well, so I'm just going to post this in the Discord real quick as to what I just looked left over to. It's not the best of things, but it's still just funny. I'm just going to put it in general. I just looked left and this is what I saw. Rudolph laughed flippantly and patted Ava's shoulder. I intentionally took those pictures to jump scare myself with later, and it works sometimes. Silver cutlery wouldn't do any good for you, Aniki. Whose eyes are those eyes? Well, it's not a cloud, but yeah, correct. Just one lick of your poisonous tongue, and even a silver plate would turn pitch black. Since I get to hear that poison tongue every day, I must be poison-proof myself by now. Ava, I don't mind when you use it on me, but you better hold back when talking to people who haven't built up a resistance. My, how cruel. All I did was teach Shannon-chan a bit about tea, didn't I? Everyone followed the lead set by Hideyoshi's horse laugh, and chuckled, though not easily. Only Natsuhi didn't join in, but for the time being, the conversation inside the parlor could now be mistaken for a lively and friendly chat. As Shannon finally finished setting the tea table and tried to leave, Kyrie apologized to her in a low voice for not being able to help. Shannon gave a light bow and made a hasty retreat. Shannon cast her eyes downwards as she pushed the cart down the corridor. Anyone seeing the pitiful way she looked might easily conclude that she'd been bullied in some way. Don't be sad. Could be mistaken for being fun. Yeah, you know, especially when around family. You didn't do anything wrong, Nesan. You were watching? That is my role. Madam and Eva-sama can go to hell. But the worst coward is that guy. Kenan glared hatefully in the opposite direction of the parlor. The preparations for the tea had been delayed by some trifling problems in the kitchen. These problems were not Shannon's fault. In fact, it had been Gota's mistake. After all, there was no way a show-off like Gota would give up a flashy job like bringing in tea when the guest arrived. He'd ended up wasting time preparing the tea once again. So when he realized he wouldn't be able to score any points for this job, he pushed the task of setting the table on Shannon, who happened to be passing by. You might call it a clever move on his part, but there could be no doubt that it was a cowardly one. It's okay, Kenan-kun. Thanks. I'm not bothered by it at all. Kenan's silence vividly expressed the distance between Shannon's words and how she actually felt. Thank you. Even if you're the only one who understands, I feel a bit better. You keep your feelings too bottled up, Mason. You should be less hard on yourself for once. Yeah. Thanks. Suddenly, they both felt someone's presence and whirled around. A middle-aged man stood there. It was Genji, the head servant. What are you doing there? Shannon, hurry back to the kitchen. Yes. If you'll excuse me. Shannon humbly obeyed and promptly made to push the cart and leave. However, Kenan appealed to Genji in silence, bearing something in his eyes that he could not express in words. What is it? Did something happen? Shannon didn't do anything wrong. But even so, they... Stop it, Kenan-kun. Please excuse me. I'll return to work immediately. Kenan-kun, you should go back to your post too. Please. If you say so, Nesan. If that is all, then go. Yes, if you'll excuse me. From the shadows in the hallway, an old woman wearing an apron watched over them. It was Kumasawa. Poor Shannon-san, Kenan-san. There's no reason for those two to be picked on. Still, Gota-san's dislike for them is an undeniable fact. Until Gota-san was taken in by the Ushi-Romiya head family, I hear he worked for a fabulous hotel somewhere. The manner of work he learned there was quite impressive, I believe. It's just that Gota-san is the newest servant here. He must have a lot of pride accumulated from his previous positions. Because Shannon-san and Kenan-kun are his seniors here at the mansion, and yet are inexperienced and have gone through much less in life than he has, he picks on them at every chance he gets. And also, sad as it may be, they are disliked by Madame Natsuki. Of course, if we're talking about experience, the Madame has been in this family much longer. And yet, this is one point where I cannot help but sympathize with the Madame as well. Truly, the Master is a man with many sins on its conscience. Why didn't he realize that such a trifling whim of his would give the Madame such an inferiority complex? Of course, on the inside, even the Madame is fully aware that those two don't deserve to be treated so harshly. However, the heart has reasons that reason knows not. I feel so sorry for them. I can't do anything but watch over them from the shadows. Oh. Ah, noon. Okay. I feel like there's not going to be a better ending point in 15 minutes. I feel like that's a safe point. Yeah. You can't get a better logical ending point than that. Like, I'm not going to try to cut it, like, short or anything, but if we hit, like, we got 15 minutes left and we hit an actual logical point, we take those. That's the wrong one. We want system. We want save. There we go. Cool. Well, we have done the first stream of a guaranteed 11 Umineko streams, but let's be honest, we're going to be here for a bit. We're going to be here for a bit. Yeah, this we've had a bit of, you know, we're having good character introductions. Something bad going to happen to someone or someone's, but in the meantime, everything's good. The worst that's happened is a teenager has been really embarrassed about having a fear of fast-moving things. Look, I love Steins Gate to death, and Steins Gate has a slow start, so it's fine. I am well aware that slow starts and things that are generally praised are there for a reason. I get it, so it's all fine. Like, you can't cut down Steins Gate introduction. You can't cut that slow introduction. It's entirely important. You have to have it. So I get it. I understand. I'm fine. That doesn't bother me. I know. I don't know what, but I know. If you don't have Sunday Curse or take breaks for Concert Family, Umineko would be finished by January next year, depending on the time frame right before Evercold. Jeez. However, we do know I will have family, and I will have cons. And the Sunday Curse is a known thing, as are tangents. I legitimately think the tangents end up eating more time than Sunday Curse is, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, enjoying it so far. Rich people, am I right?